Okay. It's 5:01, everybody. And we appear to have a quorum. Looks like Stephen was getting on. Maybe he's there. He just needs to unmute. Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. Hello, everybody. This is Ray Pohl, Chairman of the Nantucket Historic District Commission. Permit me to confirm that some of the members and persons anticipated on the agenda tonight are present and can hear me. So far, for members, I have, and please respond in the affirmative when I state your names. I have Diane Coombs.
Aye.
Thank you very much, Diane. Val Oliver.
Aye.
Very good. Stephen Welch.
Present.
Thank you, Stephen. Carrie Thornwell.
Here.
All right, great. Abby's going to be a little late. She's showing up at around 5:30. She's just getting off the boat. I can't speak for John.
I'm here.
Oh, there. Okay. So sorry, John. I missed you.
No problem.
Okay. So John McLaughlin is with us. And Ray Pohl for the record. Staff, when I call your names, if you could also respond in the affirmative. I have Esmeralda Martinez.
Present.
Thank you, Esmeralda. Holly Backus.
Present.
Thank you. Terry Norton.
Present.
Very good. Okay. Other speakers will be announced as the applications are reviewed. Good evening. This open meeting of the Nantucket Historic District Commission is being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. For this meeting, the Historic District Commission is convening by video conference via the Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. The meeting, of course, is being recorded and all attendees are participating by video conference. So we should all be aware that other people can see whatever you're doing, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast can be captured by the recording, as we all know all too well. All supporting materials that have been provided to members of this body are available on the town's website unless noted otherwise. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Before we go to the first item on the agenda, a couple of rules to ensure effective and clear conduct of business and accurate meeting minutes. First, the chair will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Thank you. I should add to that if you're on YouTube feed while you're on the program and then you go live, be careful to shut off the YouTube feed or we get feedback. Please remember to speak clearly in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. Before the members speak, the chair will afford public comment to members of the public who have joined the meeting via Zoom. Those people who wish to speak must state their names and be acknowledged by and speak through the chair. Finally, each vote taken tonight will be done via roll call. Thank you all very much. And I guess I'm looking for an approval right now for our extensive agenda for the evening.
So moved.
Thank you. Diane has made a motion to approve tonight's agenda. I'm going to have Stephen vote on this one. So on Diane's motion, Val Oliver.
Aye.
Thank you. John McLaughlin.
Aye.
Stephen Welch.
Aye.
Thank you, Stephen. Diane, on your motion.
Aye.
And I'm in favor too. That motion carries. So now we have an official agenda. The first item of which is signs. I'll have Carrie sit on all of these. We're going to do the rotation until Abby shows up. So Esmeralda, I suppose, or Holly, could you tell us what we're going to do with each one of these signs?
I will, sir. So the sign council met today, this morning, and signs 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7 were approved, and number 3 was held for revisions.
1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7, the only exception being number 3, right?
Correct.
Okay, so can I have a motion from someone that would be to approve all the
One.
signs except for number 3?
So moved.
Thank you, Diane. On that motion, Val,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
very good. Carrie,
Aye.
Diane on the
Abby.
motion.
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, Abby's here.
Okay, and I'm in favor, so that was that. Let's just get through the signs before we pull Abby in. So now number 3 was what, held for revisions, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
I
then
make a
Diane,
motion to hold 3 for revisions.
very good, thank you. On that motion, Val,
Aye.
thank you, John,
Aye.
very good. Carrie,
Aye.
thank you. Diane on your motion,
Aye.
and I'm in favor, motion carries. That's it for signs. Now, Abby, are you with us?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
well,
Yes.
welcome. Okay, so well, you got here quick.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so Abby, we just finished signs and we're on to consents, from which I need to recuse. So you're going, hopefully you will chair this. It looks
As
like
do I.
I need to recuse, Val needs to recuse, so you just need to pull in Stephen and Carrie, who are both present.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve the consents.
Oh, thanks, Diane. Stephen on the motion.
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
me, I'm an aye. Diane on your motion.
Aye.
Oh, is John here?
Yes.
I'm-
Oh, John, are you okay with the consents?
Teen Center?
Yeah, the teen center. We're starting a teen center. No, we're Diane put a motion to consent. Are you in?
I'm trying to find it on my screen.
Hey, John,
Yes.
the motion was to approve the consent agenda. So unless you're against that, I think you would be in favor of that motion.
Oh, you go, consent, okay. Let me take a quick look.
Thanks. All right, sorry, Abby, go ahead.
Okay, no, I think that flies. Thank
That
you.
wrapped it. Yeah, okay. So we have consent with conditions now, a rather lengthy list of 20. That's great. Val needs to recuse. Carrie does. That's
You
it.
do.
What? I do?
Nope, sorry.
I needed to recuse from consent, but consent with conditions, I think I'm okay. It's just you and Carrie cannot. So that would mean everybody except you for the regular board, and we'll pull in Stephen as the associate member. Okay?
Motion to approve consent with conditions.
Thank you, Stephen. On Stephen's motion, Diane.
Aye.
Thank you, John.
Is that for consent?
Consent with conditions this time, John.
Yeah, okay.
You good?
Aye. Aye.
All right, John's in. Abby?
Aye.
Very good. Stephen, on your motion?
Aye.
Thank you, and I'm in favor. So consent with conditions just got approved. We are swinging, kids, because we just knocked off one whole page. I'm delighted. Okay, so we're now on to these two items of old business, and honestly, I can't really remember this 3A Beaver. I know it's been going on for quite some time. Linda, you're in the queue. Can you tell us what's doing there?
Who's my board here?
Well, we don't know. It says to be added.
Well,
Yeah,
on
but we reviewed. I'm on it.
the minutes say
I'm
Ray,
on it.
Hang
yeah,
on.
Abby, Diane,
Wait, so Ray,
Al, and Carrie. So it's
Abby,
Ray, Abby, Diane,
Diane,
Val, and Carrie.
Val, Carrie.
I will confirm that. That's as of February 1st.
Thank you, Terry. All right, so that's our board. Myself, Abby, Diane, Val, Carrie. All right, let's see what we got. 3A Beaver.
I think there was motion to hold for some stuff. We did
Oh, yeah.
correct some stuff and we lowered the shingles. If you want to stay on the elevations, that might make it simpler. We put the chimney back as requested,
Okay,
though it was taken off 30 years ago. And we put that back up there.
all right.
Let's not go there first. Let's go back to the elevations. Thanks.
Hmm.
So we put the chimney back up there. We beefed up the door surround so it's more typical
Yeah.
of the 3 bays that are actually across the street. And we brought the shingles down. I discussed this with Holly. So we brought 2 courses of shingles down. So all that's showing, you know, is with the little grade change there is the maybe 10 inches to 12 inches of foundation. And we're going to reuse the rubble that's under the building if it's usable. But as I say, the building right now is sitting literally in the dirt because there is no foundation. I don't know why they thought that was a great idea, but they did that.
That's the way things were done back then.
Yeah, but usually you get rubble somewhere, but no, it's the frame of part of the structure is actually sitting on the dirt. And I put in some new pictures because there was a question about being able to view it from, here we go. This is from what used to be Coon Street. Captain Coon is very distressed. From
Should
Independence
be.
Way. So we go back to the first picture there. There you go. That's it. I couldn't see it earlier this year because there was leaves on the trees. But that's the building way over there in the back.
Way
And
over
then-
there, meaning like right centered on those 2
Yeah,
posts.
centered on that driveway.
Okay,
And then if you go to the one below it, I went around the neighborhood and they were all over the place, but I took the ones that were the closest. This is
they
fine.
being the dormer on the back.
Yep, there's the same dormer next door to us. And that was put in there when they did an overall renovation, maybe
Mhm.
6 years ago now. Go down to the next one. And that's the one at the end of the street. Lovely. And then that's the one at the other end of Independence Way or Beaver. I forget which one this one is. And then the last time I was in here, that's across the street. They're up 36 inches. And the one below that is on the corner of Orange, and that's up. And then I just sort of threw in some Orange Street context. I ran out of time. I just took the ones I could stop my car without getting hit. Of all the 3rd floor big doghouse dormers that are facing Orange Street, all the way from Main Street, all the way down. And we want this tiny little dormer in the back that you can't see half the year because of the leaves, but it's a small dormer to try to get some headroom in that bathroom up there, because otherwise we're dead in the water up there.
Mhm.
And the last time we were in, I had put in about 20 or 30 pictures of all the 3 bays in the neighborhood. And a majority of them are actually out of the ground and several of them have windows on the front. Now, we do have window wells on the front, but only the very top group of panes are going to be visible, and that's behind an existing fence and behind bushes that are there right now. So I think the impact is going to be minimal, certainly not if you go back to look at all the other pictures in the previous submission. They're up and out of the ground because a lot of the 3 bays are already up or
Mhm.
they've been picked up, and they have full windows, and some have the 6 light windows, some have 9 light windows, fully visible with no screening. And we have a fence in front of us, and none of them have brought any shingle course down over the 36 inches that a lot of them have, that it's exposed brick. So I figure this is fairly minimal. If you want to just go through them quickly. Yeah, and some of them actually have friendship stairs, which we did take off because that was inappropriate. Holly and I. So they're all over the place. A lot of them are 3 bays like we are, with various window configurations. So I just figured I'd throw those in there for context, and they're within, a couple 100 feet of us. I just went wild that day. I almost got hit. So that's pretty much the gist of it. We are
Okay.
limited as to what we can and can't do in the main house, because we're going, as you know, for the tax credits, which severely limits what we can and can't do. So the only additions they will allow for any space to be increased is actually in the basement area. Now, there was a question about the floodplain, and we went and got a letter from him. He doesn't really tag it to a height. He's just talking about the flood zone hazards, especially due to sea level rise and the fact that we repeatedly get flooded with a 100-year flood. And we just want to get it out of the ground.
On Beaver,
And
on Beaver Street?
it's not in the AE zone, Diane, but he went and looked at the floodplain elevations and the fact that we're bringing it up out of the ground. It's got to come out of the ground anyway, because it's sitting in the dirt and it has to have an 8-inch minimum exposure. So what we'd like to do is just go down, since we can't do anything with the main body of the house, but that small dormer. And because of the tax credits, and we'd like to have some space in the basement. And in order to do that, we have to come up out of the ground a little bit further. And then we brought the shingle course down.
But you don't have a base.
We don't now, no,
Okay.
but we'd
Right.
like to have a basement because we can't do anything with the house in order to maintain the tax credits from the state.
Okay.
So we're just bringing the shingle course down so it looks like a normal foundation is.
Got it. Got it, Linda. Got it.
I don't know
Okay.
if Holly wants to add anything, Mr. Chairman.
Well, of course.
Holly, Aaron,
Holly, anything from HSAB on this?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, so just kind of sum up a little bit of what Linda said. Again, for the record, this is a 1755 timber frame with a lean-to, the Simeon Gardner house. And the HDC did issue a historic determination letter for this application. The owner is also going before the Historical Commission, as well as Massachusetts State Historic Commission for historic tax credits, rightfully so, which is great to see. This structure, again, it is a proximity with the AE flood zone. It's not in it. From my calculation, and that was rough estimate, I think it's about 40 feet away. It is being proactive because it definitely is within the 2% flood that's been assessed by our hazard mitigation plan. The structural engineer's letter does not give the BFE or the DFE as required from the building code, as well as our design guidelines, Resilient Nantucket. So I did send a email to the agent Polly, which you all have a copy of, with my comments on the a letter. I think it's important to realize, we want to stress that this is a historic resource, and we do want to be proactive, and that we understand that the Rebel basement is pretty much non-existent. But at the same time, we do have processes and procedures to go by. There was a comment that was asked to be added within the letter that talked about the use of period appropriate members should be used when feasible to maintain the structure's unique character, but such aesthetic values should not trump any structural integrity. And while I, understand on that, it's also important to understand that when a dwelling undergoes a low elevation project, which is 1 foot above, it's recommended that historic materials be salvaged from the rear and side elevations and uses for the new foundation on the front, because obviously this is a poured concrete foundation. We all know poured concrete foundation isn't indicative of a lean-to, especially from that's pre-Revolutionary War. So those are some items that we want to take in consideration. HSAB did not take a look at this as the commission did, I think, asked for, but we're, again, because of your understanding, Ray, of and an appreciation of historic tax credits, we try to get this moved along, if you will, in the queue. So I do have some comments from HSAB member. The engineering report indicates that the site is outside of the AE zone and therefore it is not required to be raised to meet flood elevation. However, it does make sense to anticipate potential future flooding and allow for a minimal amount of elevation to protect the structure, excuse me. With that in mind, the applicant should provide a site plan and elevations that show anticipated flood levels and show the proposed elevated first floor relative to it. In any event, full height, double hung egress windows and deep window wells should not be placed on the street elevation. Typical street side foundation windows are usually 3 or 6 light and above grade, never in window wells. Linda had mentioned, which I see on the plans too, that the shingles will go down, which obviously is helpful. If vegetation is going to be proposed and approved to block the window wells, then I would respectfully request that to be a condition within any approval. But other than that, all the changes that have been made throughout this entire process have been very helpful. I would like to see the DFE and the BFE shown on the elevation. So those are a lot of the comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Very good. Very thorough. Thanks, Holly.
We're
Oh.
fine, Mr. Chairman, with we were using the rubble because we do have some rubble around there somewhere.
Yeah, you
We're fine
mentioned
with
that.
that. We're fine
Yep.
with one of the other comments that Holly made.
Are you going to tell us which
Oh.
one? Actually,
She went through them so fast, I don't remember. Oh, yeah,
let's
screening.
hold on that and
The
and hear
screening.
what-
The screening is
Oh,
fine.
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually
yeah,
there
yeah,
already.
Yeah, right. Figured you'd be okay with that because you mentioned that. Okay, board members, you know who you are, who would like to begin?
I'll do it.
You're not on it, my friend. It's Abby, Diane, Val, Carrie, and myself.
I'd like to ask a question.
Yeah,
I wanted to know if,
ahead.
about the window wells in the front.
yeah.
If those, like, is it possible that instead of having a window well, you could have not bring the courts of shingles down, but just have like a 3/3 on the front of the house and to the right there?
No,
Instead of,
because of the egress, they're requiring us to have egress windows in that basement. If we're going to put a bedroom down there, we only have 2 bedrooms up. It's requiring us to have a egress windows there with a well of
I
a
think,
certain legal size. That's the problem. And there are, all those pictures I gave you, there are windows in the front completely visible and some full depth.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. My concern is a window
But how
well,
many,
which is different than just having a window and a foundation on the front. So I think that's my only, I'm okay with the dormer in the back. It's great you're putting back the chimney. I think my only question is the window wells on a street, unless you were going to have like type 2 picket fence with greenery that would obscure that, because you
They
don't
actually
want that.
have that.
We have that, Abby. We're
They have
proposing.
it. There's an existing fence there that they plan to retain.
Okay, I just want to say that I want to avoid that spaceship thing where you see the whole foundation with lights on the bottom and it just doesn't look historic. So,
Okay,
okay, so that's where I am. Thank you.
great. Thank you, Abby. Val, are you ready?
could I go?
Yeah, go ahead, Diane.
Okay. One thing is, when I was at HASHEP, they did discuss this. I don't know why it didn't come in, because they said that the house being the age it was, that windows in the front on the basement was not.
Well, they did say that.
And what all the other pictures that we got, what are the ages? This is a very early house, 1753. I
They
don't think,
are similar age, Diane.
You can't do that, Linda.
All right. Other people
I-
do. All the
And
time.
Just continue, Diane.
and the other letter that we have, which says that the flooding is, that the engineers who wrote the flooding thing was not that letter, the next one down. This thing. stay heirloom.
That's Holly's response.
Yeah, well, that's what she's there for. I appreciate the chimney coming back. I think that the dormer on the rear should be smaller. I think that we don't very often get a house of this age in this condition to stay there and not be changed and look like all the rest of them. It is, I don't think you'll find many more as early as this one. So I would like to see it stay that way. I'd like the front of the house to be thought about again, to think about the suggestions that have been made to keep it looking the same. Thank you.
Thanks, Diane. Val?
I don't have a problem with the dormer at all. I appreciate putting the chimney back. It would be nice to move the window wells. I think on the one farthest to the, if you're looking at the house farthest to the right, you could move it around the corner on the side of the building. Actually, I think you could do it on both of them, but the problem with that is then they'd be more visible. So if there's planting there and the fence remains, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
Thank you. Val, we have a 0 lot line on the right side, so we can't put it over there. That's in their driveway, the back house driveway.
All right. Thank you, Val. Carrie?
I agree with everybody. I think I appreciate the dormer reduction in the wall below the windows, and the chimney and the combo of the dormer seem appropriate to me. I also agree with the front full height window wells. I think they've got to be completely hidden. And I was wondering if on the east or west, there's no way you can put them there.
No,
Can you
we
go
have
back to the
parking
front
required.
elevation. Is there just one on either side of the
Yeah,
door?
just one on
Yeah.
each side. And we
I
got
could-
0 lot line on the right, and we have the driveway required on the left.
Yeah, I just wonder if you could do two on the main mass and not on the little bump, because I don't think that's typical at all to have it on the bump. And then maybe the stairs go down to the right instead. Which side is the driveway on?
Left, it's going to the driveway.
Ugh. Yeah.
The
I just-
other,
I
the
think
other
these stairs
question,
are very
Carrie, we
questionable.
had looked at putting see, that's flush. That's a flush
Oh, it's
wall.
gone.
That's why it's weird. That little bump out is a flush
Yeah,
wall.
no, I see. I'm. So the driveway's on the left, so the
We'll hide these. I mean,
the
obviously
east
we don't get a
elevation,
sign off.
it seems to me that you could put window wells on the east elevation behind the bump. You've got plenty of wall with no.
No,
windows
wait a minute.
there in
No,
the
we can't,
basement.
Val. That's the 0 setback there, and the window well has to be a certain,
Carrie.
a certain size. It won't go there.
Can we
Well,
look,
They can be in the setback.
can we look at the
No,
site
we're
plan? They
actually
can
at
be
0, Val. We're 0 now.
on the right side, which is right behind the bump. Oh, I see.
Yeah, we can't. That's actually their property, 0.
Yeah, it's not a setback, it's actually the property
The
line.
property line. Yeah.
Right.
Because
right.
light wells can go in the setback, but they certainly can't cross the property line.
Well, is one of them a bedroom and one of them is not? Is that correct?
I think they're both bedrooms. I think Polly can probably speak to that. I mean, we could always do what we do with pools and say they can't be visible at the time of sign off. And I'm going to make sure that they are not visible, period. Because otherwise we can't get a sign off. If that's the condition, that's fine.
Can we see
Sure,
the
yes,
front
they are
elevation?
actually both bedrooms.
Can we see
And
the
we
front
can't
elevation
move them
again?
to either side because of regulations in terms of park driveways and window wells. You can't have
Excuse
the
me,
possibility of something parking on
Wait,
top
too many
of it.
people are
Sorry.
talking.
Ray, all speakers must identify themselves.
Yeah, so that was.
Oh, I'm
Polly
sorry.
Waldorf. Sorry, for the record, that was Polly. I believe you're the homeowner, right?
Oh, I represent the homeowner.
Oh, you represent the homeowner. Okay.
Yes.
There you go, Terry. Thank you.
So you have a side stair going down to the left. I'm looking at the front elevation. And then you come to the street side from there's a return fence at the window well. You just
Yes,
have to really make sure they're not visible, because the
Yep.
full height in a concrete well doesn't suit a 1750 building.
Yeah, it'll be a brick, it'll be brick face.
Yeah, it's
just
not
for
going to be,
everybody.
well, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be concrete.
No, it'll be concrete in the foundation, but brick face for sure.
Right.
Okay, well, that's got to be part of our,
Yep,
Yeah,
I got it.
that would be part of the motion, but I think that was sort of understood from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else, Carrie?
that's it. Thanks.
Okay, listen, I think that old buildings like this, every time I see something like this, I think of poor little Con Sue over there sitting in the mud and with no foundation, and it's just going to, I'm sure it's totally rotted already, but lifting this up and putting it on a proper foundation is the right thing to do. I mean, I do want to have a veneer on it, a brick veneer, so that it looks in character with its vintage, but I do believe that it's the right thing to do to this building. And I understand the idea of the egress windows and trying to get this little tiny house to remain itself without trying to encumber it with additions and so forth. So building down is actually not such a bad idea, and building down does require light walls, and I get the whole bit about the setbacks and so forth. So,
I have a question.
yes, Val, go.
Is somebody, I think it was Linda, mentioned rubble. Where is the rubble? And should the face of the foundation, at least on the street, be rubble?
We've
Face,
got some
rubble
rubble.
face.
We have some rubble existing on here and there, not a lot, Val, so I'm not exactly sure how much we have, but if we have enough, we can use it on the front and brick the sides, which is fine. We just don't know how much we have until we pick the house up.
You know,
and see
the
if it's
odd,
anything
excuse me
else.
for interrupting, but the odd irony there is that's backwards.
Yeah.
Historically, they would take the more formal material, which would be the
Put it in
brick,
the front.
and
Yeah.
face the front of it with brick, and then the sides would be rubble. That's the way
Okay.
how it was done.
If we have enough, that's fine. I just, we won't know until we actually pick it up and
Well,
see.
I guess what
exactly
I'm
what's
saying
there.
is, even if you do have enough to do it in rubble, I think that brick might be more appropriate on the front of this house. That's my
Okay.
own opinion, you know.
That's fine. We can rubble the sides. I
Old
was
brick.
working on one like that the other day, in fact.
Yeah, somebody said old brick. I believe that was Carrie, and that would be, yes,
Absolutely.
right.
With the right grout, with, with the right profile.
Yeah, the lime mortar, etc.
And not white.
So does somebody want to make a motion on this? To try a motion?
Mr. Chair, before somebody makes a motion, I would respectfully request having the plans and the engineered letter to be revised to include the actual BFE and DFE.
Okay,
Yeah,
Sure.
that is imperative.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
That's
that's
fine.
fine. Okay, somebody want to make a motion here?
I will.
Yeah, can't, my friend. You're not on it.
I'll try.
Thanks, Val. Go for it.
Motion to approve through staff with the proper flood elevation information,
okay.
certified by the engineer, and a sorry.
The fence and
Um,
plants.
Hang on.
It's like conditions like we have for pools. The window wells can't be seen at time of inspection and thereafter in perpetuity.
Mhm.
And to use any existing rubble somewhere on the foundation where it's appropriate.
Okay.
I
And
think
rip up-
probably the west side, because that's the most seen with the driveway right there.
Mhm. And the planting and the fence in the front is part of that, I guess. And then the brick front and the brick window wells.
yeah, I would put in a special request for salvage brick
Yep.
veneer on the foundation on the front, certainly.
And on
Okay.
the chimney.
Front being the south elevation.
Yeah, and on the chimney and not white grout. Okay, I got it.
Okay, so Val's, is that part of your motion?
Yes.
Is- Well,
Whatever you
again, a
like,
lot of
Val.
things were thrown in there. Okay, so Val has made that motion. On the motion, Carrie.
Aye.
Thank you, Diane.
Aye.
Thank
Aye.
you. Thank you, Abby.
Aye.
Very good. Val on your motion,
Aye.
and I'm in favor. So that
Thank
motion
you guys for working
right.
with us on this. This was not an easy project, but thank you very much.
Likewise.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, and so let's see, we're now at 21 Pleasant, and again, we have, it says commissioners to be added. So can somebody explain where we are with that?
And we
Oh,
opened it.
I should first ask, is, oh shoot, Tori here?
I'm here.
Okay. So let's see. Oh, am I seeing that for this application, Abby was the chair, John, Diane, Val, Stephen? Is that what
Yeah,
I
you
see?
took a break, Ray, the other night.
I did?
Yeah, just the first one.
I don't remember that. Okay, so Abby, do you want to chair this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Got your board there.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Tori, you want to propose, or tell us what you've done?
Sure. I think it was held for a site viewing, so I wanted to make sure everyone did have a chance to go by, although I'm sure we've all driven by it 100 times. Did we get to do that?
Yes.
We
all
did,
wanted-
and there's been some grade change.
Well, there's been material delivered, no work though. The existing is exactly behind the piles of dirt. And we will be, just to make it clear, we will be coming in with a full landscape application to review exactly how we're gonna figure out that one side that you can see the line in the elevations, this north side, I believe it is, and go over the details of the parking and the driveway, because this lot has been subdivided, so it's gonna be tight. But back to the merits of the application before you. We would love to stick to what is on the application, specifically regarding the merits of the fenestration proposed and the small addition on the second floor. I feel like most people thought that the proposal was somewhat appropriate as far as the second floor addition. As per our last conversation, the 6/1 windows and the shutters proposed. I've submitted a few photographs of the only other 2-story Foursquare that Holly and I could think of. And then I also submitted some additional pictures of Atlantic Avenue, has some 1-story Foursquare type styles, and both of these have 6/1 windows. The 2-story has 6/1 windows. So we're just looking and hoping to be able to switch out the windows to a similar style found on these other precedent examples. HSAB had, let's see, the shutters they weren't sure about because of, and I think Diane brought this up at the last meeting, so many mold windows, the shutters couldn't possibly be appropriate to close properly over them. So whether that's something we remove from the application and we discuss at a later time, or you're comfortable approving something similar to the Pine Street example of the 2-story that just has them on the front facade, second floor, or windows that they would only be appropriate to be sized accordingly. We're certainly open to that conversation. What else? Let me just see. We are in the process of putting together a window survey, so I'll have that ready for next week. But happy to answer any questions that you may have. Most of them are 2/1. We've got 1 6/6 in the basement that looks like it was a replacement window. And we've got, oh no, they're mostly, we have 31 1/1 windows, 9 2/2 windows that are only in the basement, and then 1 6/6 window in the basement that was a replacement probably of one of the 2/2s at one time. I've submitted color photos per Steve's request, so you can see there's an existing fence there, and it is somewhat difficult as we go to the left here on Pleasant Street to really see underneath that, what is the first floor of the home's deck in the rear. We're more than happy to adjust the staircase as HSAB requested, so it doesn't stick out from the deck. And what else did they say? The royal blue doors, I submitted a close-up picture. That's a screen covering of the front door. The front door behind that is actually custom, mostly one light. It's got a wood trim on inside the light, true divided light behind it. So HSAB had that question. I think the Essex green proposed by HSAB is not a problem. What else am I missing? And then they discussed the railing, which you guys also discussed, remaining shingles rather than baluster. I think that's everything. I think with that, I'll leave it to you guys and certainly answer any questions.
Well, thank you, Tori.
Yeah.
Yeah, that,
Madam Chair,
yes.
when you take, I have my hand up.
Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you start, Stephen?
Okay, so I think we need to back up a little bit for the sake of accuracy, which is important. Do we have an image showing the grade change? Tori, did you turn any in?
The elevations show the existing versus the proposed. Is that what you want? The line? Or the topography line? Is that what you're looking for?
No, so I think, okay, so I'm gonna back up. Number one, I don't think that it's appropriate to review this application, given there is, well, let's back up even further. Suggesting that the grade hasn't changed and materials have just been delivered, materials have been distributed. Of course, the existing grade still exists, but it's buried. It's like saying the landfill grade, back when the landfill started, the grade still exists, which it does, it's just buried. This topography has changed dramatically. And I don't know that this accurately reflects, it's certainly not in images, which were the images I asked for of the fill that's been brought in. So I'm very reluctant to be reviewing this application until we have a complete set of information in front of us, despite having had a view. It's all relevant. The grade change is shown in the drawings in part. I don't see the existing in this drawing we have in front of us. Perhaps we can knock it up a few
Yeah,
clicks.
there's another page. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
There's
okay,
the
there's,
existing on the bottom. Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, you can see there's a very dramatic change in grade, most particularly when you consider the fact that in 2D, the existing north elevation, which is in the lower left, and the proposed north elevation, it's, depending on how you're looking at it, it may or may not appear extreme. But when you look at, if you were to look at this topographically or physically, you understand that the grade change is better represented by the proposed west versus the existing west. And then you consider the fact that that grade change extends from, on the proposed west, the left side, left lower corner of the house, all the way over to Candlehouse Lane. So this is a dramatic change. And excuse me. I don't think it's appropriate. I do think that we should be viewing it in the context of the whole. I think the applicant should be submitting images of the work that's been done. And I think the fenestration changes are actually very minor. It's almost like it's a kind of a lead, but we're missing the bigger portion of this project. I don't believe that this should move forward without the landscape plan integrated and it labeled in plan view so that everything is clear, and then we can make a determination based upon having a complete application. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Stephen. So I think Val, aren't you on this?
I think so.
What's your feeling on this?
I don't disagree with Steve about just having it clear as to what the actual grade change is going to be. But I did have a question or a concern about the addition maybe being subservient to the front main mast that it connects to. If the eave line could drop, making it more of an additive mass than an extension of what's there. Yeah, that's my concern.
Okay,
Can
so
I,
what was your
Abby, can
feeling
I
on
go?
the grade change? Yeah, hold on, Diane, I just wanted to clarify. So you wanted clarification on the grade change?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
okay,
I do think that a hardscape plan would help with that.
right, to go hand in hand, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Diane,
yeah, on the landscaping, I think to put the amount of stuff there when they have never even come to us to discuss the possibility. I have pictures of the dirt mounded up around the trees that are there now, 2 to 3 feet high. You will kill the trees. That is, you might as well chop them down because you will kill them. The 2 trees out in the front part of the house are out on the street are 2 town trees and protected. How you're on your proposed north elevation, you have it coming straight across. So you have a door with steps coming out on the ground. On the existing north elevation, you couldn't possibly have that. The elevation, we should know, as Steve brought up first, and I feel he's completely right. We have certain rules about how much can be added, and we have no idea of what the depth and the amount of fill that you have there. And it should be removed from the trees now, because that's what you have done there. Every tree in the backyard is surrounded by dirt. And I think to try and put what the elevations are without knowing exactly what the land is, where they're presenting some, and how much is going up from the thing is very important. So I would like to go along with Steve and say we should get that before we continue.
thanks, Diane.
And that's it for me.
Thank you. And Johnny,
I'm right here.
yeah, what's your, did you take a view? Did you see the house?
Yes,
Wha-
21 Pleasant Street. Yes, I looked it
Yeah.
all over.
Okay, what do you think of
I
the
said it,
proposed?
I said it last meeting. I think it matches the same house. It's over there on Pine Street. They're very nice looking, compatible, the 2 of them to each other. I think this should be approved. Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, so no concern about the grade change. Thank you, John. I personally saw a site plan that showed a driveway coming in, I think it's Candle House Lane. So I can see why the grade change, the driveway I saw was quite large. This one looks smaller. I saw one coming in. that
Yes, I
was
believe there's another one that shows 2 spots right there.
Right, so my concern about that is,
Madam Chair, for a point of clarification, I believe, and I can correct myself by looking in the files, but I believe this property came in for a driveway, a new driveway in this location, and it's been already approved. And that's not the configuration that was approved. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
So this Y shape was not approved. And So all right, well, this.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just
Steve.
a point of information. I'd like to have the application submitted that was approved included with the hardscape. And I presume that there wasn't a grade change included in that, because if there was, there would have been discussion. So I think that
Right.
the approval is for the existing grade, not for a built up grade. I just wanted to make a point of information on that. Thank you.
Right.
I can clarify whenever you're ready, Abby.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Tori.
The driveway you're referring to, I believe, Holly and Steve, is for the subdivided lot off the back of this original lot. There have been no applications submitted for this particular lot. This original lot was subdivided into 2 lots. And Linda came in and got permission for the garage to be removed off the rear, which is a completely separate lot. And I believe,
Madam Chair, if I may, this is the
Wait.
staff approval that came in for 21 Pleasant Street. As you can see, you all approved it with a cobblestone driveway.
Yeah, no grade change.
So that's right here, black and white.
can you, Edgewater?
Interesting.
I didn't even know, I wasn't even told that this existed.
Understood. Madam Chair, may I just interject for a moment?
Go
If
for it,
it's okay?
Holly.
Thank you. I understand that the view and the images that were requested, there's all these different things that need to come into play, as well as revisions. HSAB did review the original application. They did have comments that I did read into the record last week. I just want to notate a couple of things. Obviously, what Stephen had said about topos would be very helpful. Landscape hardscape plan would be very helpful. The comments about shutters, building with Nantucket in mind, page 115 specifically indicates that shutters that have 2 windows next to one another where you cannot actually use the shutters are inappropriate use of shutters. So there should be a conversation with the commission on are shutters going to be allowed? If they are, what facade? One thing that I would mention, that the facade that faces Pleasant Street does have double windows. So how would that meet building with Nantucket in mind is something to take into consideration. Obviously, the window survey, Tori did mention that that's forthcoming. So there's all these different things that need to be come into play, as well as that approval. You also do have that adjacent lot that was subdivided off of this parcel under, I think it was a 4181L. And regardless, that property is going to be developed, and I believe is going to be before the commission here shortly. I would recommend that Tori, the property owner's agent, should also maybe work with them as well, to kind of figure out where the driveways are going to be in relationship to one another. There's all these different concerns that come into play for this application. So thank you for letting me speak, Madam Chair.
Right, Ollie, thank you for bringing those things up. That I'm sure Tori, we want to give Tori a chance to sort of propose this in a way that shows us the grade changes, and obviously you want to take a look at that driveway that was okayed. And so I don't think we're ready.
Maybe-
So
Maybe we should have a motion to hold for further information.
Yeah,
right.
I wouldn't mind making that motion if it's okay.
Yeah,
Can I
because
just-
I think there's some details
I just made it.
Well, I'd like to
Madam
be
Chair?
specific. I would like to be specific in the motion, because the last time we asked for information, we didn't receive it.
Madam Chair,
Yes, yeah,
could I just respond to a couple comments for clarification?
yes, go ahead.
Okay, if any of us want to look at the photographs, so that I'm happy to bring everything you discussed, and we were already planning on coming back with a full landscape application, which is a separate application, as you know, for approval from this application. We're only proposing a grade change on one of the 3 sides. We are not touching those town trees in front. I believe these are the 2 trees that Diane was referring to. Is that right, Diane?
That's right.
Yeah, but those
Yeah.
aren't the ones that are covered with dirt, the ones
I
in the back.
understand. I understand. I'm getting there.
Okay,
The material that was delivered there is, because the lot has been subdivided, the space to load the material that is not, no work has been completed whatsoever other than delivery of material onto the grounds. They have not, a shovel has not touched it. No one has touched anything without your approval. And we understood that dumping that material where we did, because we were limited to the space that we could get the trucks in there and deliver it to because of the subdivision of the lot. So I just want to be clear that we're not.
Point of order, Madam Chair. I'm not suggesting fraudulent activity, but this is incorrect information. The materials may not have been distributed with a shovel, but they've been distributed around the fill area without HDC approval. And if we're left there for significant enough time in rain, they would flatten to a grade.
Well-
It's a tremendous amount of material.
All right, well,
And I
let's,
think we're kind of getting off the point, which was the motion to get some specific, hopefully some specific information, which we did not receive in this despite requests. And I think that to suggest that the grade change is part of the hardscape when it's also represented in these drawings, and it's relevant to the overall project, it's fine for the applicant to do that, but we'll just make a motion that this tracks until the grade is resolved. I mean, if we're going to split hairs, we'll split hairs. I think it's a complete project. It should be presented as such. It's a sensitive historic structure with character and setting that hasn't been changed in I don't know how many years.
With all due respect through you, Madam Chair. Stephen, I completely understand what you're saying. The application before you specifically is for the house. I'm not arguing with you, and I don't want to split hairs either, that a separate application can track per your request. I just want to be clear that the application before you for review is the merits of the window changes, shutters, and the small addition. I understand the grade change is shown. I understand the grade change is shown, but the application is for the house, not the landscape.
Okay, then, so I think it would be appropriate, number one, for the grade change not to be shown. Number two, I don't think it's appropriate for us to be discussing changes to the structure without resolving the grade. If Diane, if you're amenable, I'd like to make a more specific motion, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's great. And one, if you can throw in to remove the fill from away from the house and the trees, or take it out until we settle the problem. However you want to word it, I'm sure you could do it.
Okay, and I'm going to address that as part a follow-up after the motion, because I don't know that we can actually put it in the motion, but we can make a request to the applicant. Is that okay?
Yeah, try your motion,
Okay.
Stephen.
So the motion is going to be for cross-section representations on both the XY axis and plan to show the grade changes, a topographical plan clearly showing the proposed and the, well, what's the two differences between what's there now and what existed 3 or 4 months ago before the fill was brought in and distributed. That should extend over the lot line, so we have an understanding of what the grade changes effect will be on what now amounts to a separate lot. And I would ask that we also get images, or I can supplement them, but I prefer the applicant do that. I think in the interest of being forthright with the existing conditions, we can always match them up later. Images of what is there as of today, taken from Candle, taken from the new rear lot, showing in the entirety the grade change. And then finally, any revisions to the fenestration and other elements of the structures were discussed today. So that would be my motion. And then I would just add as a separate matter before you all vote that the commission requests respectfully that the fill that's been placed around those beautiful American hollies be removed so that they don't die prematurely if the grade is not approved, grade changes are not approved. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. On Stephen's motion, Val.
Aye.
Diane
Aye.
and Johnny. John, on Steve's motion
Yes,
for more grade change information and topo.
I'm in favor.
Okay, good. And I'm in favor as well.
Abby, can I just ask a question?
Yes, Tori,
As
please.
part of Steve's motion, he said that revisions to the house should be included, but we've barely touched on what you guys want besides Val's comment to make the small addition secondary, and I guess there were a few comments on shutters.
Right.
So
okay.
what revisions specifically, if we haven't?
At the prior
fully
meeting,
discussed?
at the prior meeting, we listed, different members listed concerns. So I think it's appropriate to address those. Thank you, Madam
Actually,
Chair.
I've got the minutes. That's not true.
Well,
Tori,
so-
it's true. Diane listed out issues she had. Other members listed issues they had. I was the only one who didn't have a concern, and John, of course, wanted to approve it.
Tori, briefly, my issues are what HSAB said about the shutters. I'm not sure it's going to work with ganged windows, so many
Yeah.
ganged windows. And I think I also said last week that I was concerned about how much building out on, I think it's the back or the
north
southeast.
elevation.
Yeah, the one where you have the French doors, and I wanted
Yeah.
to see that downsized.
And that's why I submitted the photograph, so you could see that you can't see that.
Okay, did anybody else want to add for Tori to work on the architecture?
Well, I
Yeah.
mentioned last week also about the shutters not working and the drop as Val mentioned earlier, the dropping of the new addition down. So it
I
was
got that.
almost the same height as the main addition. Those should be in our notes from last time.
Yep, I have them, and I prefaced the beginning of this presentation by acknowledging all of that. Okay,
Okay, well, thank you, Tori.
thank you.
That was it, right? You got the vote. Okay.
Yeah, we got the vote.
Thanks, everybody. Okay, so now we're moving along to new business of January 18th. First up, 10 Angola. This is Val's, so let's pull in Carrie to sit on this one.
You want me to share?
Sure. We
Okay.
love that.
Thank you, Val.
If I can figure out how to do it. Here, okay. This is the house at 10 Angola. It is a infill house from 1973
Mhm.
with some greenish trim, and it's 27 feet setback from the road. What our proposal is to replace the windows and doors with SDL, understanding, of course, I know we base that on visibility, and so if it's necessary, we could have the front BTDL, but we'd like you to look at the relationship to the street and where it is and how you think that might play out. The other significant change is that the space over the garage formerly was an open porch. I'm going to show you the former plan right here. How do I turn it though? Wait a minute, rotate. Which shows that it was an open porch with crossbucks, but obviously we can't do that. So we were using balusters, but I do have HSAB's comments in front of me, and I understand what they're saying. It has to do with the proportion of the shingle space versus, sorry, I got to turn it again. I'm so good at this.
You're way better than me,
One more
let me tell you.
Yeah.
One more.
There. They are concerned about, oh, sorry. Here, the proportion of the space with the shingles and then the band board for the deck and the railing.
Yeah.
And their suggestion is to reproportion that. And then one person thought it should change to a hip, but the original plan was a gable, so we'd like to keep it as close to the original as we could. Changing the trim to white, the windows and doors to gray. That's the proposal.
Okay. Thanks, Val. Holly H. Sab.
Yes, sir. So, yes, this is an infill within the old historic district, and there's an actual HDC survey on file. Imagine that. And HSAB took a look at this on January 31st. They said this is in the old historic district, so all windows should be TDLs. The single side lighted front door is not appropriate. The current proposal creates an awkward massing of the side wing. Either keep the shingled walls on the front and part of the side, or drop the porch floor level 8 inches to improve the proportions and reduce the shingle area above the garage door. If it remains an open porch, the roof should change to a hip. And then HSAB does respectfully request revisions. I did want to mention that at first I thought this was inappropriate on a 3-bay Quaker infill. However, thank you, Val, for actually finding the original plans with the cross bucks. Pretty cool. I do think that the windows agree that windows facing the public way in the old historic district should be TDLs. And then maybe because the original plans shows the pediment, which I think is there over the front door,
Yeah.
that you all are changing. Maybe there should be because the crossbucks and the pediment that's proposed on the original plans obviously don't really go together. I understand they were previously approved by HDC a long time ago, but maybe to somehow correlate the proposed front door surround with the that new balcony. I did want to mention that your neighbors in the area through Anduez contacted staff and just wanted me to let the commission know that first of all, that Val had shown the plans to the neighborhood group and they were very appreciative. She said, regarding 10 Angola, we don't have anything to add to HSAB's comments. You aren't changing the footprint, adding anything to the lot, or making huge changes to the exterior. In this case, the neighborhood group defers to the expertise of HSAB and HDC. I will notate that it may be beneficial due to the proximity of the building to the public way and all the vegetation that's there, that maybe you all put your caveat in there in perpetuity. So those are the comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So again, it's the regular board, ex Val, of course, and Carrie. Who would like to begin?
I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll go up.
Go ahead, John.
Thank you. I'll make a quick comment also.
Yeah.
Mr. Earl, back in the 70s when they built
When he built what? Uh-oh. John?
with this. Thank you.
Oh, no. Hey, John, like you basically started to say something about the builder and then you blanked out until you said thank you. So we didn't hear any of that. John? Oh gosh. Okay, so let's see if John comes back, but like John, right now we don't hear you. So I'm moving on to somebody else. Would somebody else like to speak?
I can go.
Thanks, Abby.
I like the,
Oh,
okay, so should I continue or not?
I think you should continue.
Okay, I like the change of the new dimension to the windows. I think the front door should have a more classical entryway and not asymmetric. I think adding a post in the middle to the porch, the new porch, would give that a little bit more oomph. And that could be repeated around the corner and in the back. I mean, it could be part of your style. And I didn't.
There's a post in the middle right now on the.
Right. And that would
front.
become a post to like the corner, like the one that's on the far left. So
A column, not
Column,
just, okay, I understand. You want to
So-
go all the way up rather
yeah,
than
so like
stop.
every 6 feet or whatever that is, 7 feet, you
Understood.
would have a column.
Got
And I
it,
think
got
that
it.
would give it more presence. And I didn't mind your idea of the crossbucks. So I could go either way on that.
Well,
And
she was just saying that, Abby, because the building department, it does not meet code now.
Right.
It was not an issue back in the 70s when it was first done, but now it is. So.
right, but there are ways of getting around that, of, making it the right height. And what is it, has to do with sticking a child's head through the,
Yeah, no opening can be more than 5 inches in diameter.
yeah, so short story, not as long as John's used to be, but my mother had a upstairs sun porch like that, and she had a balcony that you're proposing now, but behind it there was actually a wall, so you actually saw both, but that nobody could stick their head through anything. But so that's just a thought. So there you go, Val. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Abby.
I'll
Let's-
go.
Yeah, thanks. Go ahead, Diane.
I think the windows should be TDL. It's in the old store district, no reason not to have them as they are supposed to. The balcony over the garage, I think is all right that way. But Abby's idea was pretty good.
The
too
extra
thoughtful.
columns, yeah.
Yeah, so I have no, otherwise I think it's fine. I just would like to see the windows properly done, and the choose a different facade or the same facade if it works out well over the garage.
Okay,
That's it.
thank you, Diane. Oh, Carrie, yes, of course.
I agree with everybody else's comments. I also think with HSAB dropping that deck level down a little bit. My main concern is white, simply because of that porch and the garage door. It's a lot of white trim on a building that has a lot of wall and should seem to be more subtle than white to me, but that's all. I got.
All gray.
It is gray now. Well, it's sort of.
It's the green now.
It's that like greenish gray, that Nantucket gray right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think a gray would be great.
Mhm. Is that it, Carrie?
Yeah, and I agree with other people's comments so far.
Okay, thank you. So my comments are agree with the idea of like not loving the asymmetrical entryway. I actually think the original entryway was quite charming. I think that you've rendered the porch was obviously an element. You've demonstrated that it was when the house was built originally. It did have that space, and to set this down more would involve like A, changing the roof, B, changing the floor level. With respect to the second floor, you'd have to have multiple steps to get down. I think that's onerous. I think what you have going here is okay. And it's also something that was built originally back in the 70s. I like the idea of adding in the other columns because it will give it more detail. I agree with Carrie and probably some of the others on the gray trim versus white here. I think it blends in really nicely to that sort of quasi-rural wooded context that it's in right now. Now, the one thing that I think I depart from the board on is the use of simulated divided lights here. It's set really far back away from the road. We have approved, I'll remind everyone that the entire second floor of the Nobby shop has been approved as and was installed as simulated divided lights. And I've been by there numerous times, as I'm sure you all have. And there ain't no way that anybody can tell that they're not. Actually, the way that you can tell is that they don't have the ugly triple track storm screens on them, which to my mind, I'd rather not be looking at the ugly triple track storm screens. If this, we also, begrudgingly approved them on the second floor of the house that was done sort of at the end of Union Street on the left-hand side, on the hillside. Not on the first floor, because the first floor was right off of the sidewalk. So literally you could touch the windows, but everything else was approved as simulated divided lights. And again, we all drive by there all the time, and it does not stick out as something egregious. So I'm okay. And the reason for doing that is twofold in my mind. One is that you don't have to have the triple track storm screens. And two, not that it's the HEC's purview, but they're a hell of a lot more energy efficient. And I just think that, not to do them in locations where we can safely do them. And I think that this is one of those locations, is not really the best way to go about it. That's all I'll say. So those are my opinions. Would somebody like to make a motion on this?
I could try. I
Yeah.
don't even know why I volunteered that, but anyway. Because I
Because
don't
you're
even know what
brave.
I'm gonna say.
Okay. I'm gonna wing it.
Yeah, I'm gonna wing it.
Okay.
Well, I too, having that sort of on the edge of town, and being back from the road, I think I'm okay with the simulated. And I also appreciate the new size, so it's not so 70s or whatever it is. I would say that the entry door has to be more of a classic entry door, not asymmetric. And I guess that was my idea, to put the column, add a column to the sun porch. I think that's a good idea. And was there anything else?
Trim color.
Trim color.
Oh, trim color it's not to stay the same?
Well, it sounded like Val was amenable. People have called this green, which it is kind of greenish, but I think that, Val, were you amenable to gray?
Yeah, like a lighter gray.
Yeah, so the lighter
okay.
gray is platinum gray. We
Yeah.
approve that fairly routinely.
Is
And
that
the
what-
windows are gonna be gray.
The
Anyway.
sash.
The windows are gonna be gray. Okay, the
Yeah.
sash is gray and the trim is gray. Okay, so that's my motion.
Okay, hopefully everybody got the motion. I did. Let's see. So on the motion, John. Let's try Diane. How about Carrie?
Aye.
Okay, let's see. Abby on your motion.
I'm an I.
All right, and Diane. Is Diane muted?
She
Oh,
may not
Diane,
like the
you are muted.
simulated-
Yeah, sorry, you're still muted. Just talking away, yeah.
There,
Yeah, there you
that's
go.
ridiculous. Why? I couldn't unmute. And I kept saying unmute and it would not unmute. Pain in the butt.
Well, you
I'm an
managed to
I.
get off, yeah, so now we can hear you.
That was an
Oh, I'm
I.
sorry, you said I'm an I?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, thank you, Diane. John, do we have you? I think John has experienced some technical difficulties, so,
Okay,
oh, there you are. John, are you
There
okay
he
with the
is.
motion?
I'm in favor of the motion.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot, John, and I am too, so that motion carries. Okay,
All right.
thanks, Val. Now we're gonna go to 232 Matticat Road, new garage. Do we have anybody to represent?
Oh, I have to sit off of this one. I'm working on the neighboring house.
Okay. In which case Stephen would come in, but let's make sure that we have somebody to represent this.
Mr.
Yes,
Chairman,
I'm here. This Amaris from JN Design
Oh,
representing, but I would like to say that this is for the new garage.
right.
And this went in front of the Nantucket Advisor Board a few weeks ago, and per recommendations, we're doing some changes to the garage, so that won't be ready for tonight.
Okay. So do you
And
want
we
us to
have,
hold that?
yes, please, if you may.
Now, I can suppose from us holding that is you're okay going forward with the next application that you have for the main house, fenestration and dormer. Is that correct?
That is all set. Yes, we
All
should
right.
be able to go for that. Yeah.
So,
Make a motion to hold 232
new garage.
Matticat Road. 232 Matticat Road first, the first one,
The new garage. Okay, so that's
the new
Diane's-
garage, yeah.
Yes, Diane's motion is to hold the new garage design at 232 Matticat Road for further revisions. So that was Diane's motion. On that motion, John.
That for the garage?
Yes, we're just holding it, John.
All right, thank you.
All right, you're in. Abby,
Aye.
how about you, Stephen?
Aye.
Very good. Diane, on your motion?
Aye.
And I'm in favor. That motion carries. Now let's all direct our attention to the main house.
Correct. So as I mentioned, we went in front of the Medical Advisor Board, and per their recommendations, we did a bunch of changes to the original plans. So these are the revised drawings already. We're looking just to add a dormer, wraparound deck, and we're doing fenestration as well, new trim and new siding. I'm pretty sure we we did all the changes that the Medical Advisor Board recommend to us. So this will be the final product.
Okay, thanks. And so while we're looking at your presentation, why don't we hear from Holly and Matticat Advisory?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have the comments from when they reviewed it on January 24th. So hopefully those comments are, as he said, are reflected in these revisions.
Mhm.
But this house was built in 1986. On the north and south dormers are inappropriate, particularly on the front facing Matticat Road. They go to the ridge, so looks like maybe they've been dropped, and have unusual transom windows, skylights inappropriately and against HTC policy to be in dormers. So it looks like that's been maybe removed.
Mhm.
And chimneys should not be taken over by the dormers. The structure is visible from both Matticat Road and potentially from the rear along Pond Drive. The change to 2/2 in this typical style house is not appropriate. They should remain 6/6 or 6/1.
They're actually
Wraparound
12
porch.
over 12 now, just by the way. The current windows are 12 over 12s or 8
Correct.
over 12s, yeah.
Wraparound porch negatively impacts the symmetry of the structure and puts it out of balance. A standard front porch only would potentially be appropriate running from side to side to corner boards. The hip roof around the east side is not appropriate. Odd French door composition, not standard 4-light. If the windows are not changed from 6/6 or 6/1, the doors should remain 15 light. Though the visibility may be minimal at ground level. The east-west elevations clearly show odd dormers, not sure the pitch is actually a 412, and show the skylights raised off the roof plane, which is not standard skylights for Nantucket. On the east, inappropriate wraparound porch oddly placed. Usage TBD, to be determined, is not appropriate on any application, is used with this and the main house on the skylight. I guess that's been removed. Size is 28 by 54, which is against HTC policy, no greater than 24 by 36, vertically oriented. What is the orientation of this one? And I would just want to notate there are comments on here about the application is incomplete, several things such as length and width, height, and what colors are existing or not filled out. All colors are TME, what is existing. This is pretty simple structure and atypical alterations are being made to make this out of context. Drawings are incorrect. Clouding does not match your application, does not match from side to side. Some parts have clouded, others are not, particularly with the rear deck. It is not mentioned on the application specifically that it's changing yet. The drawings have different dimensions for it, different stairs, yada, yada. It needs to be corrected and add to the application correctly and clouded correctly. So it looks like the plans have been changed, but I would obviously make a comment that should the commission be so inclined to approve these as proposed this evening, that the applicant would revise the application that's in the office. So those are the comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So if you're all following along, we did have the little reference drawing in the corner there that showed the previous submission that went before Nantucket Advisory. And it would seem that the applicant has probably addressed 90% of the comments that Nantucket Advisory made, including the removal of the dormer and the skylight on the roadside, which I personally very much appreciate. It seems like the only sort of substantive thing that has not changed is the switch from 8/12s and 12/12s to 2/2s. So who would like to start on the review of this?
I will, anyway.
Well, I'll start.
John beat you to it.
Let Johnny go.
John,
Yeah,
you
let
want to
John
go?
go first.
John? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the two mixed windows that are in this structure, they're double hung. I'm gonna say the only thing I can find that's not appropriate for this structure is that dormer. The dormer is not, should not be on.
The one in the back, John, right?
I'm sorry?
The one in the back,
Right, you see, it's on there.
that one.
Yeah, whether it's visible or not, I cannot say right now. So I can't, but I think they changed the top of the window. Am I correct?
They changed what?
They want a different dormer.
Well, there is no dormer on the house now. They wanted one on the front and the back, and they've gotten rid of the one on the front.
Right, the little windows are too small. Should be made larger. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Good point. Thanks, John. Diane, go ahead.
The windows should be either 6/6 or 12/12 or 12/6. However, they shouldn't be 2/2s. The door in the front has been removed from these present drawings. And I'm just looking at the north elevation. The north elevation is the front door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I don't see anywhere, how tall is the whole building?
26
26,
feet,
I just saw
2
it.
inches, yeah.
Yeah, 26, 1 and 5/8.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So I think the window change back to what it was will make the whole building more attractive, and the loss of that dormer over the front door is good. I wonder whether you can see the north elevation. You see the north elevation. What about the south elevation? Will it be seen? I didn't see a site plan to see where it falls in Nantucket Road.
Nantucket Advisory said that it might possibly be seen from Long Pond Drive. That was what they said, but actually, I'm not sure that I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
There is that area where Long Pond and Matticat Road are close together, but this doesn't look like it's in that area.
I didn't think it looked, that's what I didn't think it looked like that area either. So those are, to me, the most important thing
Okay,
is the loss of the dormer and the windows. And see what other people have to say about the rest of it.
okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Diane. Abby?
Yeah, it is back from Matticat Road, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, although I think the window panes now are quite charming, sort of oldest house charming. It wouldn't stop me from voting on it if it were 2/2. I think my main concern, I'd like to see the posts on the front porch larger, thicker. Right now they look kind of spindly to me. And perhaps if we can see it from Long Pond, I'd like to see another window in that dormer. I think the spacing is odd on the back of the dormer there.
Too much shingle between the windows.
Yeah, but can we see both the front of the house and the back of the house?
There's
Yeah,
the back. Yeah, I see what you mean.
yeah, I mean, I would, if you're going to, and then, yeah, see the spindly columns, I'd like to see those. And I think usually, aren't they all the way out to the ends? I don't know why they're brought in a bit, but other than that, that's all I've got. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Abby. How about you, Stephen? Stephen? Let's see. I see you there.
Can you hear me?
Yep, now we can. Yes.
Okay, sorry, I'm having mic issues.
Hmm.
Can we go back to the, just show the existing little, just zoom out one click, please. Yep, okay, next. Next sheet down, please. Okay, next sheet down. And the last one. Okay, and then can I see the locus? The next one? Yeah, I have no concerns.
Okay. Thanks, Stephen. I really don't have any concerns with this either. I do like Abby's suggestion of putting in an additional window in the back dormer because it is feeling a little under fenestrated, which is something you'll rarely hear this board say. But I think other than, oh, and a applicant, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name, but what size are, sorry?
I'm Auris.
Audis.
I'll give you a couple of tries. I'm Auris. Yeah.
Okay, got it. I see your name posted now. So can you tell us what size those front posts are on that porch? Are they 6x6 or 8x8?
They're 6x6.
Let's make them 8x8 because I think that would give a little bit more substance to the front of the house. 6x6 is a little mean. And what you can do, by the way, it's your choice. Either use a solid 8x8, as you know, or you do a 6x6 that's cased out and it becomes basically an 8x8 if you just case it out. Okay.
You got it.
Does somebody want to make a motion on this one?
I'll make a motion.
All right, Abby.
I'll make a motion to add another window in the top,
The dormer.
in the attic dormer, third floor dormer, and to, oh gosh.
Increase the size of the columns on the front porch.
Yeah, to what did you say, 8-inch?
8x8, yeah.
8x8, and but I mean, I'm okay with the window, but I don't want to disappoint, but so my motion is.
You're
to
okay
approve.
with the window as a 2/2?
right, 2/2.
I am too, actually.
Okay, all right, that's my
Yeah, and
motion.
I think Stephen is too.
Yeah, I'm good with that. That's a good idea.
Okay, there it is.
Okay, so that's Abby's motion on the motion, Diane.
No,
Okay. John,
Aye.
okay. Abby, well, actually, Stephen on Abby's motion.
Aye.
Thank you, Abby, on your motion.
Aye.
And I'm in favor. So the motion carries 4 in favor, 1 opposed. Thank you, sir. And
you.
now we're going to roll right along to 1 Cambridge Street. Do we have Matt on board? Matthew?
I am here, Mr. Chair. I actually emailed Holly earlier. I was going to ask if we could actually hold that because we're going to be making some revisions, and I'd rather just make those revisions and then present them to the board then, if that's okay.
God bless you, Matthew. You're saving us time. We love that. Okay, so can somebody make a motion to hold this? Well,
Motion to hold 1 Cambridge Street till
yeah, we won't give a rationale in this case.
forever.
Okay, so Abby has made a motion to hold 1 Cambridge Street for more information on that motion. Diane?
aye.
Thank you. Val?
Aye.
Thank you. John?
Aye.
Thank you. And Abby on your motion?
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Motion carries. There we go. Okay, so that's the end of the new business. Now we're into old business cycle. First up, 28 and 32 Baxter. We have an established board. Is Chris Dalmas with us at the moment, or is Chris representing?
I'm here, Ray.
Okay, very good. I couldn't remember. Was Mirka involved in the pool house thing or just the pool?
No, that was Elizabeth O'Rourke.
Oh, that's right. It was Elizabeth. Sorry. Anyway, you're representing this, so you want to start into it?
Sure. Primarily the only comment that the commission had was that they requested that we change the originally proposed fieldstone chimney to brick to match the 1906 main house, which is adjacent and to the south side of this proposal. So we've changed it. It's water-struck brick. It's got a typical cap. The corbel starts down and terminates at the head of the window. It basically starts at the double hunt where the meeting rail is. And we also, I think, refined the design a little bit, and we added the chimney now is flanked by a couple of pilasters, which is sort of inherent in part of the design elsewhere. That's my summary.
Okay, sounds good. Pretty straightforward. Did this go to Sconset Advisory, Holly?
No, sir, it did not. You all didn't ask for that in your
Okay.
your review last time. Just for the record, this is Windrush, or the main dwelling on for this is Windrush, so circa 1906 Foursquare. And at the last meeting, which was December 21st, 21, the revisions were asked for that chimney reconfiguration with the brick and corbelling to match the main house. I do note that one commissioner did say it was heavy and should be relocated in the interior, but the do appreciate the material change as you all requested. Those are comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Holly. Okay, board members, you know who you are. It's John McLaughlin, Diane Coombs, Val Oliver, Carrie Thornwell, and myself. Who would like to start?
I will.
Whoa! Good Lord. I'm going to let John go first. Age before beauty, as they say. John, you go.
You want me to go?
Yeah, I do
I'll
want
go.
you to go.
Yeah, if there's anything as part of this that's visible, each door that's on the west elevation,
Yeah.
if that's glass, that's 42 panes of glass. That's a lot of glass to put on one wall. It's 50% fenestration. I think that'll be looked into. The other ones are 16/1s. That's it, you know, but it's still it's all glass. There's too much for it.
It is. Perhaps we should go to the site plan. Okay. So John, this is a pool house for the building that you see to the left of it?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you can see Baxter Road down at the bottom, right? Did I get that right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So, John, the long and short, the reason I'm showing you this is because the glass that you're talking about is facing away from Baxter Road. It's not facing Baxter Road. It's facing sort of the open space behind.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
may I correct that? It actually does. That facade, the east facade does face Baxter Road. You may want to go to the photos, the site photos.
Wait. I think we're talking about the west elevation, Chris.
Correct,
Must have
that's
missed
correct.
something.
Yeah.
I thought you said east.
East elevation is basically all glass, yes, and is visible from Baxter.
Right. But I think what John was talking about was the west elevation.
Okay.
Oh, you're saying that too is visible from Baxter?
Well, except for the considerable vegetation that separates Baxter Road from the structure.
Okay. John, you want to continue?
That's my only comment.
Okay, you're just concerned about the amount of glass.
If that's glass, you gotta go back, cut it back to less than 50%. We all ask them all to do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. Who was, Abby, were you the other person? Let me think. Who was?
It was me.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Val.
Because this isn't a dwelling, I don't think those same rules apply. This is more of like a conservatory near the backyard. So I don't have any concerns given the vegetation and the scale and the house that it's next to.
Okay, thanks. Diane?
Well, I think the east faces Baxter Road, but it's set pretty far back, and it isn't a house or a cottage or a garage. So I don't have problems with it as long as the chimney is there and is brick. And at the moment, I'll go with that.
Okay, thank you, Diane. Let's see, Carrie?
I appreciate going to brick. I was the one who said I thought it seemed heavy and that it should go inside, but looking again at the site plan, I see that really you won't fully see the main mass of this chimney at the base of it. And I think this is a great little building.
Well said. I agree with that. I think that it's a pavilion, you know, it's not trying to pretend to be a house. It's an accessory structure to a nice building. Chris has drawn off the details of that existing building, so I'm totally fine with this. Can I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve is submitted.
I'll go with Diane's version of that. Okay, so Diane's made a motion to approve on that. Val?
Aye.
Carrie?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Okay, Diane? On your
Aye.
motion? Thank you, and I'm in favor. Motion carries. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much, Ray.
Night,
Commissioners. Good night.
Okay, all right. Okay, now we're off to 26 Easy Street. Ray, Diane, Val, Carrie. 4-person board. Okay.
I can start whenever you're ready, Mr. Chair.
I'm ready. We're all
Right.
ready. Yeah.
Thank you. So I think you're all familiar with this building. We've been before you a number of times. We took a little bit of a hiatus there just to kind of collect, our thoughts, take the board's comments, and come up with a game plan here. So I think if we shift to sheet A 2.1, which I think Holly's on right now, that demonstrates probably the majority of the changes. So just to back up bigger picture, we started off with a more ornate building. And I think that through historic photographs and some feedback from the board, I think the suggested direction was to emulate some of those historic buildings that had been down by the waterfront historically. Now, I know that's a very there's a varied architectural language down there now, but I thought it was a good suggestion. And as such, we've kind of simplified the building fairly significantly based on the board's suggestion. And I think it was a great direction to take us in. So thank you for that. I'd say that where we left off really had to do with the third floor. And specifically, we had previously had a cupola that was specifically emulating a historic building that is no longer on the waterfront, but it was, and that's what it was based on. And I thought that there was a lot of support for that. Also, there was some discussion about reducing the scale of the dormers. We had initially had shed dormers, and there was discussion about going with a smaller scale dormer. And so if you look at the previous submission, you'll see that we had that fairly tall vertical cupola or belvedere, and the smaller scaled gable dormers, but there was a lot of them. So I think that's where the board, we got stuck basically the last time we saw this. And we were in a tough place because we had felt like we had made a lot of great progress and really tried to follow along with what the board's suggestions were. And we hit a bit of a roadblock. So what we've done is omitted the cupola and changed the dormers to three dormers, three gable dormers that are, basically it's a direct response to the notion that those smaller dormers were busier, if you will. We do have some flexibility. Again, we did start off with shed dormers, but these gable dormers would work for our program. We probably have some flexibility with, potentially going down to 2 if that helped or made sense. We also, I don't want to repeat too much because I know it's a long evening, but we did reduce the front front second floor deck to a really small scale and size. But I think that everything else we've done has been a direct result of the board's requests, and hopefully we're where we need to be. So that's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Holly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for the record, everybody knows that this is a contributing lot and infill within the old historic district. HSAB did take a look at these revisions as you all voted on last time you looked at this. On January 18th, they said it would be beneficial to see a streetscape of how this building relates to the neighboring structures. The HDC has repeatedly asked the applicant to lower the building and eliminate the balcony. It is still too tall. The roof pitch should lower to 812. The first floor ceiling height of 9 feet should be reduced. The gable dormers are too big and essentially create a third floor wall. They should be much narrower with single windows. The roof walk is too wide and should be reduced to about 7 feet or eliminated completely, as it only adds to the height of the structure. Second floor balconies on the front of any building downtown are inappropriate. The balcony should be removed. The 2 sets of triple doors leading to nowhere have no historical precedent and should be changed to double hung windows. The third floor mold windows in the gable end is inappropriate and should be single. The applicant is still asking for too much program in this location. Trying to maintain this much floor area on the third floor shouldn't be driving the design. A reduction in the third floor space will help steer this design closer to the proper height and the scale for the neighborhood. This is a classic example of the applicant repeatedly asking the same thing without making changes the HTC has requested, and eventually HTC will approve something. It's wasting everybody's time. HSAB does respectfully request future revisions if the commission is so inclined. From staff's perspective, I do appreciate the reduction in the dormer amounts. I will reference one of the historic photographs that I've seen, and I know, Matt, you've provided, resembles these type of dormers on structures along the wharf within, obviously, Nantucket's history. The roof walk, I agree, is not appropriate or historically accurate for this type of architecture that it's paying homage to. But I do appreciate the west gang windows being removed. And I have been consistent on this comment along with HSAB that however, the reduced balcony is still inappropriate over a public space, as this is obviously right down in our public wharf. Also wanted to mention, as I have been consistent with this, that the structure does have to comply with Resilient Nantucket Chapter 11 for new construction. And with that, we do need to see an engineered letter. I know you've referenced what the BFE is and DFE is and all that, but we have not seen that as of yet. I just wanted to mention that on the record. And those are comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, Holly, thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, can I just clarify, Holly, is that something that you're requiring as part of the HTC application?
You mean the BFE thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. When we're in the floodplain, we just want to make sure that this tradition of ours started a while ago where we want to make sure for the record that the whatever height is being added is being done so, you know, according to the established floodplain.
We can certainly provide that. And I also just want to point out that this building is actually being built below that floodplain requirement so that it does remain in context. So, but we can certainly apply for that, or we can certainly get you a copy of that, Holly.
Good to know.
And Mr. Chair, through you to Matt, I can email you the specifics of what we're looking for through Resilient Nantucket that was adopted in June last year.
Sure.
Do you have it? Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So who would like to begin on this one?
I'll do it.
You're not on it, my friend. Sorry. It's myself, Diane, Val, and Carrie.
I'll go.
Thank you, Carrie.
Can we go to the other elevations? I wholeheartedly agree with HSAB. I think actually the proposed submitted just underneath it was more appropriate, minus a few of those little dormers. With the reconfiguration of those little dormers, I think 3 of them would work. And the cupola, I think with the right placement of the dormers, well, maybe not 3, maybe it has to be 4. It could work. I don't think the roof walk is appropriate. I think the larger scale dormers and the windows on the second floor are now more complicated, and the simplicity of that original front elevation was much better. And on the rear elevation, I don't mind the larger dormer, but I do think it should be set. Sorry, if you can go to the north elevation. I think that dormer would be okay, but I think it needs to shift inwards so you don't see it from the side of the building. And I also appreciate less windows in that upper gable. And I guess the east, I haven't really. Can you go back up to the east elevation? Yeah, I think as commercial space, that first floor is sort of, I think it works. And again, the deck, I can't argue with HSAB on that second floor deck. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Carrie.
Oh, I'll go.
Go ahead, Diane. It's your turn.
Okay, well, I think we've asked for this building to be reduced in size every time, and it's exactly the same size as it was when it was first put in front of us. I think that I know Easy Street pretty well as anybody, and this is so window overpowering that it doesn't look like anything that's there. I think that what is the point of the Widow's Walk? Either it's a commercial building or it's a residence. I think the balcony on the second floor of the front of the building is totally inappropriate. I think that the dormers on the third floor going across, what is the point? Have one in the middle or 2 and bring them in closer. You are taking up everything from one side to the other that isn't covered with something, except on the north, which is calm and not overpowering. I agree with what has been said. They've said it basically every time, and yet we get the same square back, rectangle back without changes. I think that I don't know whether the cupola would be better. I think there's no point in adding more size to have the roof walk up there. I don't know. I'm just kind of disappointed that what we have asked for has been sort of disregarded, and what the people want to have it as a shop is running what the program is. I would like to see it made smaller or brought in from the sides, so it's not such a impending frontispiece. Thank you.
Okay, Diane, thank you. Val, it's to you. Val,
I'm just unmuting, sorry.
it's okay.
I agree with a lot of what's been said. I think the first floor of this building is perfectly fine, like so many buildings in town. It's a shop, it's retail. There's gonna be glass. I appreciate getting simpler. That's all good. I think that the south elevation, you could maybe eliminate the middle dormer that's just over a stairway and make the pitch on those dormers a bit less steep. Like the old buildings have rather shallow pitches and they're sort of austere boxes. Get rid of the roof walk and the little balcony. I appreciate that it's smaller. It's never gonna fly. But I do appreciate the simplification overall as this process has gone on. So that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thanks, Val. It's funny, if we go back to that other elevation, I guess we would call it the front. I'm not sure. It would be yeah, right there. When I first saw it, I said, oh, that's interesting. So we went to 3 dormers rather than 5, but we're at 6 windows rather than 5 on the 3rd floor. And then I looked at the 2nd floor and I said, well, we used to have 5 windows on the 2nd floor. And now we have 7. And so, like the idea of simplification sort of going in a different direction. And then Carrie made the observation that sort of like the previous application with its relatively simple cupola, Belvedere. I don't know, nobody loved the 5 little dormers, but I think that there's an in-between that would work. The rest of the stuff I share, like the deck over the 2nd floor deck over the French doors, which is a perennial issue. And yeah, the roof walk, I just don't think is a happy alternative to the cupola that you had before. Those are my comments. What would we like to do, friends?
Sorry, Mr. Chair, could I just ask?
Yeah.
That was great feedback. I mean, again, in terms of the HSAB's comments, I mean, we're just going to disagree, about the 3rd floor, and it's no disrespect to anybody, but it's just a respectful disagreement that, there's 3rd floor program here. So that's just part of the process. Every time I go back to them, they're going to have some very unpleasant comments for me, and that's just the way it is. So again, all due respect to them and everybody else. So I did get some good feedback. One thing I just want to ask, and I also want to point out, and we did change from 5 windows to 7. I feel like even number of windows don't always read well. So in the way that the 3 dormers were playing out, the relationship between the 2nd floor fenestration and the 3rd floor wasn't working. So we did add a window. We can go back to the 5. And I wanted to throw out there, would a shed dormer, kind of a simpler shed dormer, and we could go down to 2 if that worked as well. So is there any
2 shed dormers, you're saying?
Yeah, shed dormers for the 3rd, because we started off with sheds.
Have we ever seen shed dormers on this building?
We did initially, we did, and I think that the initial comments were they were over fenestrated, then they were kind of simplified, and so then we went to these 5 dormers. So perhaps what I could do at the next meeting is to actually bring you maybe a few variations on 3rd floor.
Actually,
dormers.
you want to know what, Matt? That would be a fabulous idea, because Carrie said, well, not necessarily 3 dormers, maybe 4. not
Right.
5, but maybe 4. I'd be in favor of less windows up there. The 3 dormers was kind of working for me. They're a little too large, but the fact that it's gone from 5 windows to 6, I find a little troubling. So
Mhm.
some alternatives. Sorry, Val, did you say something?
No, sorry, that was me interrupting. I just don't think sheds are appropriate on an in-town building like this, and we've
Okay,
been.
well, that's great feedback. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Okay. Keep in mind that, each member of this board has their own opinions. Have you noticed that?
I have, yes.
So, generally we agree. But, there are certain things. So I don't want to speak for the board, but so I was thinking maybe the idea of if you really want to try and, get to a solution, maybe showing us a few different ways of handling the 3rd floor would be beneficial to you. To get opinions from everyone on the alternatives.
I'd be happy to do that. And I think that maybe at that point we can come up with a consensus, but I feel like there's, I think I've got enough feedback, but thank you for your patience. And Diane, like I said, it's, we're not going to completely agree, but I hear everything you're saying. So hopefully we can kind of get this over the finish line, and thank you.
All right.
Hey, thank you,
Thanks.
Matt.
Okay, so let's move, I think, for some more revisions, right?
Yes, I make a motion.
Okay.
To hold for
Some
a
revisions.
few revisions.
Okay, sounds good. Diane has made that motion. On that motion.
Mr. Chair, does that include
oh,
HSAB or not?
Yeah, it probably should, Diane.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's
To
okay.
go back to HSAB.
Yep. Okay. So revisions plus send those revisions back to HSAB for their input. So that's Diane's motion. On that motion, Val.
Aye.
Thank you, Carrie.
Aye.
Diane, on your motion.
Aye.
Thank you. And I'm in favor too. So that motion carries. Very good. Okay. So
Thank you.
now, thanks, Matt. But you got another one here, but Abby is chairing this one for you. So that's 37 Fair Street.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to mute. I'm going to say goodbye for a little while because it looks like I'm not on the next 5. What?
I'm gonna miss you.
Lucky.
Oh, I'll be there in spirit. Okay. How's that sound, Val? I'll be with you in spirit. Okay.
Yeah.
But I am going to mute.
Okay,
bye.
ready, go.
Okay. So thank you, Madam Chair. So this one should be fairly simple. We came in, this is a project you had approved maybe about 6 months or so ago. We came back in with some minor changes. Specifically, I think both of them are probably most visible on sheet A2.1, which I think Holly has up. And essentially, we're looking to do a walkout, which actually falls on the north side of the building. It's set back from the sidewalk, probably about like 10 or 15 feet. There was some discussion about trying to screen it. So we proposed to put 5-foot high privet in front of it. I honestly don't think it's really going to be visible at all. If you recall, there's an existing picket fence that runs right along the property line. And that has privet behind it and will continue to. And then on top of that, we're going to actually pretty much screen this railing. So I just don't really think it's going to be a highly visible element. I think you can actually see it if you look on the east elevation. You're really just seeing the side profile of the post. And again, there will be a 5-foot privet right up against it. On the left side of the east elevation, set really far back. If you look at the site plan, we're probably talking maybe at least 60 feet from the sidewalk. There's an existing mudroom entrance, and we actually had the stairs facing towards the north, towards Fair Street. And we wanted to just change the direction so that we could, it just made more sense in terms of how you access that mudroom. And I think there were some reservations about that visibility. Again, I think it's so far back from the road, from the sidewalk, and this is not an atypical element whatsoever. But having said that, to completely screen it, because I said we could put a 5-foot privet in front of that, the owner said, I'll put in an 8-foot privet. You won't even see that it's there. So that's what we're showing. Other than that, I think that we, on the west elevation on sheet A2.1, you'll see that we were proposing to paint the skirt on the back side of the structure. You wanted it to be natural, and so we've changed that to natural. The final change, which is fairly minimal, was on the north elevation. If you recall, on the second floor, we were proposing to add 2 mulled windows, and I think there was generally no support for that. I think the board collectively said it'd be better off as just a single window with shutters, and that's what we've done. One small, very final point was on the first floor, there was a shutter adjacent to that porch that we've added, and you were asking us to add the shutter on the right side. That is an existing condition. It is odd. I actually thought that it was going to clip the header beam, but it turns out we can add it. But it was an existing condition, so that's why we left it the way it was, but we can add it. So that's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Very nice, Matt. It's pretty straightforward. Anybody want to go first?
Madam Chair, I do have comments for you.
Oh, sorry, Holly. Yeah, go.
That's okay. So for the record, this is a 1820 typical Nantucket, actually listed as individually significant within the Old Historic District. And you all approved the addition, alteration, and porch back of August of this year. HSAB did took a look at, sorry, it's been a long day already. Took a look at these revisions on January 18th. They said the areaway on the north will be very visible from Fair Street and should be eliminated. This is already another basement access in the rear. So this one is unnecessary. This was previously requested by HTC, yet is still proposed. The front stoop should be repaired rather than replaced to enable the existing railing to remain in a less than code height. The exterior stair on the cells should be more integrated along the side of the building rather than projecting outward. This also requested by the HDC previously. Privet hedges should not be counted on to hide inappropriate architectural features on the front of buildings. They lose their leaves in the winter and may be removed in the future. If something is inappropriate, it should not be allowed. And HSAB does respectfully request revisions back. On that note, from staff's perspective, screening to be used for approval of a change on a historically significant structure in the Old Historic District, it seems to be a little new. For me, I would think it would be that should be looked at carefully. It's either appropriate or it's not. The side entry mimicking the historic entry on the facade, I'd mentioned that previously, that it does seem to compete it. I would agree with HSAB of having it somehow, having it so it's maybe parallel with the side of the wall, somehow making it more subservient, if you will, and exactly that's what that entry should be. And I agree with Matt that this is not something new. We do have historic typical Nantuckets like this that do have a side entry on a little L, although this is a new location. HDC approved the changes in August of this past year with the roof walk, a natural to weather skirt. It should stay as approved. I believe that was the intention on the revisions map, but I think everything else was to be white. So just wanted to bring that to the commission's, knowledge. And then I agree with HSAB on the basement access. There already is one proposed in the rear. It seems a little excessive to have two, having a basement access on the front. And I think this wouldn't be as much of as an issue on a historic structure such as this, but it's on a corner lot, so it does have that double frontage, and it will be facing Darling Street. So those are the comments and thoughts for your consideration, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Holly. Wow, that was a lot, Holly, there. Thought it was kind of simple. So, but with all of that, would anybody like to go first? Oh, did you
Madam
want to
Chair, I just had
clarify
to point out just one small point, just to follow up to Holly's points. I mean, the other part of this too, that stair that's all the way back at the end of the driveway, it's also a function of trying to maintain the parking area that's on site, reduce on-street parking, and so that's a big driver of it. So, but I just want to point that out. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Okay, so board members, anybody want to start, or should I? Should I go? No. Valerie, are
I'll
you
go.
on this? Okay, Diane, thank you.
Okay, Matt, I wanted to ask you, is that roof walk, is it existing or is it proposed?
It's proposed. Well, you've already approved
Okay,
it.
we have
Previously
approved it.
approved.
All right, I was trying to see. I do think that having the basement entrance there on the front is not sort of typical of houses along Fair Street with the deck and everything and the stairs. I would try and put it somewhere else that was not as noticeable, whether you got hedges or not. I think it would be better to move it around somewhere else. And could I see, I've seen the west and east, can I see the north and the south? The shutters, they must have been drinking that day that they put them up. Because they're a little discombobulated.
They're not consistent. Yeah, they're missing. Yeah, they're not consistent.
Up in that floor on the north, you got on the very north or the very left, you got right. Then the next window in's only got one, and the other one's only got one. And further off, all the way to the right, they ain't got none. So it's a little casual, but
Yep, it's existing.
right. You never know. But I think that that window as a single window is an improvement up over the back, and I think it's going to fit in. I appreciate the front, which I think is typical of Fair Street and Pine Street, and it's always a surprise when you see down the side where it's tucked in and you don't realize how big it is. But I don't have any major problems at this time. And I see what you have corrected. The only thing I was going to mention was I thought the roof walk was a little big, but we've already approved it, so that's out. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Diane. Johnny, are you on this one?
Oh, I'll go, Abby, if he's not.
Thank you, Carrie.
On that south elevation, that stair is pretty far back from the face of the building, and I think I'm okay with it. The hedge, I don't think it has to be 8 feet tall, but, and then I do have a question about the roof walk. Are you applying for painted board?
We were planning to paint the skirting on the back.
Yeah, because I think the half and half, I think it really needs to be natural. The painted, to me, I mean, I think the half and half is not that great, but
We're totally fine with, yeah, just going to
Yeah.
natural skirting.
I think that would be best. Other than that, I'm okay with it. The basement stair, I think won't be quite as in your face as we're assuming it could be. So I'm ready to let that one go. So that's it.
Thank you, Carrie. Val?
Yeah, I have no problem with the roof walk and it's not up for review. The historic photos show that it went from side to side on the original house without any respite from the edge. My concern really was the cellar stairs, and I agree with Carrie, the side step in back of the parking was a concern, but I do think it's back far enough. I still have some concern about the porch stair coming down straight off the building. But I guess if we were going to tag some of these things, visibility with screening that we should put in perpetuity clause.
Happy to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Is that it, Val?
Yeah.
Thank you. John,
Yes, could I have 3 notches, please? That's good right there. Thank you. Okay, could I have the east elevation, please? Could I have 3 notches on this, please? Okay. That's good. Thank you. Okay, you got 5-foot high privet vegetation screening. Where is it?
Through you, Madam Chair. John, we've showed it as a clouded and a transparent gray solid hatch to indicate the privet.
Okay, yeah, I know there's a lot of hedge there, unless you took it out.
And if you look at the site plan too, you kind of see that we've indicated that the existing,
What's the height of the building, please? The height of the building.
the height of the building, I believe, is over 30 feet. In 1 second. It's existing. We're not changing the height whatsoever. The overall height is
33.7.
30, yeah.
30 feet 7?
It's actually 33.7.
3.7.
33.7.
Correct.
All right, that's my comment. Thank you.
okay, very good. I think we can move this along. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make one to prove it.
Can I ask before he makes the motion?
Yeah,
Did we get any feeling on that door to the basement on the front? I don't remember. Somebody mentioned it or not. The stairs going down to the basement on the front.
my
Did any-
feeling on that is that it sort of flows into the siding of the porch, and I think I don't think it's going to be so evident from the front, and with the privet on the side of Darling Street, I don't think it's going to have
I don't think you're
much
gonna
of
see
an
it.
impact.
Okay,
But
I just want,
anybody else want to weigh in on Diane's question?
No, I do want to weigh in on the natural to weather skirt.
Okay, you weigh in on that.
That's all.
I think we've
want.
already shown that as part of our revision.
Oh,
So
okay.
the
I'm sorry.
skirting
I
is
can't see the
natural.
little note. Okay, thank you.
Oh, the skirting is natural. Okay, so are you okay with that, Carrie?
Yeah, no, I think John was making the motion, no? Or was
Yeah.
it Diane?
I did. I made a motion to approve it as submitted.
As submitted. Okay, everybody in favor of John's motion, Diane,
can we add just one thing saying that the privet will be in perpetuity? I believe that had been mentioned.
Yeah.
yeah, we can do that. I think
Sure.
John will
Sure.
allow that. You mind adding that the privet be in perpetuity, John?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Okay, on John's motion, let's go through it. Carrie,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
myself, I, and John on your motion. That's an aye, I guess.
Aye.
Right, John? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you all very much.
Is Mirka here? Mirka.
Madam Chair, I don't see America.
Should we hold that for representation then?
Unless
Yeah.
the architect for the project is here. But I don't think they're here either. So sounds good.
9 Hawk Circle. I
I
don't know.
make a motion to hold
Okay,
under old business number 4, 9 Hawk Circle.
okay,
for
thanks, Diane.
representation.
Okay, thank you. Val on Diane's motion.
Aye.
Carrie on that.
Aye.
And I guess I'm on that too, and I'm an aye. So, and Diane on your motion,
Aye,
aye. Great.
aye.
3 Takawakimo.
Good evening, Chip here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I am representing this on behalf of the owner at 3 Tatakamo. And if I can share the screen, I can cover the presentation.
It's all yours.
All righty. Did that come up okay?
Yep.
Yes.
for me.
Okay, so as a reminder, this is at 3 Chautauqua. There are association guidelines and covenants that want everything to be referencing shingle style architecture. This was reviewed by the board, and there were a number of comments which we have incorporated. One of which, there were a couple of members, Carrie and Stephen, who previously we had some brackets that were here in this middle section. And there was a recommendation to change that to a shingled arch to sort of soften that and remove the brackets. So we did that. On the street side, so this is the one side that would be visible right here on the west side. There was a comment from Abby previously at these doors, we had an arch, and Abby felt that that was a little too stylized, a little bit too much on the arches. So we have revised that to just a simpler, cleaner, flat top on that. There were a couple of members who commented on the length. Oh, sorry. Of this ridge, which goes front to back on the property. There was a recommendation to add a chimney to break that up. And in fact, what we did was we added 2 chimneys, sort of to break it up, 2 and midway, breaking that into thirds. Also, Diane had requested, we only had 1 window on this little side section here. So Diane had requested to add a second window. So we have done that. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, back to the front, which is, this is the one side that's visible from the street. Previously on the front elevation, we had sort of skinnier windows flanking that second floor door. And Carrie had suggested making those a little wider so they, albeit smaller, still follow the proportions of our primary windows. Let me see what else. I think those were all of the changes. So I turn it over to the board for comments.
Yeah, very good, Chip. Thank you. Well, let me go see who's on this. I know Stephen's on this. Stephen, would you like to go, or do you want to?
Yeah, I'm happy to go.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I think, can we just zoom in on the upper elevation, please?
This east elevation?
Yeah, that's a Chip. So I believe that on that 3/4 story dormer, that you've got an artifact that makes it on the left roof plane, makes it look like there's a coplanar roof that's slightly above.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are correct. I'm sorry, that's just an artifact line. That's not there.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I just wanted to clarify, because if it wasn't, then we needed some more lines, and I wanted to take a closer look at that.
Great.
First of all, I appreciate the changes. I think that changing that the brackets out is actually just, it just helps keep it subtle. It's a more, this is like a kind of a shingle style to my mind, and that's appropriate. Can we zoom up? I'm sorry, can we go up to the east elevation? Is that a shingle wall underneath the bracket
here?
and the, okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I zoomed in on my tablet. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have no comments other than I've already made on the east. No additional comments on the west. And if we could go to the next two sets. I appreciate the fact that on the east and the west, you changed that garage roof overhang, the dormer, second floor roof mass. You don't have to go
Right,
back.
yeah, correct. I'm sorry if I failed to mention that. We did pull that back. Correct, sorry.
No, that's fine. I guess the only concern I have, which maybe is more of a question, is on the north elevation. It appears to be on the leftmost dormer and the rightmost dormer. They're actually proud of the secondary mass on the second floor. See the corner board on the right?
Are you talking about right
dormer?
here?
Yeah. Now, if you look at the mass below it, that the dormer is a portion of, the dormer is proud.
Well,
and the same on the left.
Through the chair, if I may answer Stephen's question, let me show you what's going on. You are correct. And what's happening here, if I blow this up, is you're seeing it's the side of this window. So we popped this whole window frame out 6 inches and put
Gotcha, completely understand. That addresses it. Thank you.
Yeah, and put the little brackets under it, which gave it a little shingle style, something.
Okay, and then while we're on this elevation, I see that you did simplify the arch and the relationship of the arch transom. And I know that that door and the side lights and the transom are going to look more interesting than can be drafted with respect to just subtle details of the muttons. So that's fine. Okay, those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Carrie.
Am I muted? No, I'm not.
Oh.
On this elevation, I appreciate the getting rid of the brackets, but I do also think that top band board, whatever it is above the arch, makes it look very fragile somehow. And I think it would be better if it were just shingle. I'm not sure what that is. And then, because I think this is going to be the most visible elevation. The garage doors, somehow the lights, I don't know. I think maybe they shouldn't be so massive in those doors. Maybe some sort of 4-light configuration, a little smaller. And the chimney to me on this elevation is a little fat. It's just a little, it makes that whole piece seem a little squat, even down. I don't know why that's doing that. Other than that, I'm okay with this. The other elevations I think look good. I think there was, a window here and there that might be too skinny, but I don't think they're going to be perceived. I think this will be a little bit back on the site. And I think the rear as well won't really be seen. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Carrie. Diane.
Yep, I agree with what has been. I think that the garage doors should not have that bottom thing of glass, if it is glass, and just leave it the two windows up above, two windows up above. I think that will make it will fit in better. They sort of look incongruous to the rest of the front. I think that's it. Chimney doesn't bother me. I like to see the chimney. It gives heft to that right-hand side, which has got a lot of stuff on it. And I think it's fitting for the amount of things that is sitting over. See, that's the west and east. Let's look at the north and the south quick. Quickity quick. No, I don't have. Well, you get away with the two mulled windows. I won't argue about those because they tend to fit in. All those windows are mulled, but you need them in the middle. So I won't mention them this time.
I gave you that extra window here too. Right?
Yeah. Yes, you did. That was very good. You had a good picture today.
Yeah.
We looked like you were in Florida. So that is all I've got. The rest of the stuff we've seen before. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Diane. I agree with Carrie and Diane about the garage door windows. I think they're over the top. I'd like to see those sort of pared down. My feeling about the negative space, the see-through, I wish the sides could come in just 6 inches on either side just to make it really seem like it's not going to collapse. I think it needs a little more weight on either side. Those are my only comments. So do we, it sounds like
Am I on this?
I didn't see your name on it. Hold on, let me check.
Yeah.
Hold on, Val.
Madam Chair,
Yeah, you are, Val.
Okay.
Camp Coombs, Oliver Welch, Thormo.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's okay. I can't really make heads or tails of any of it, but I do have a question. In the floor plans, there are these big boxes in the back, and it looks like on the east, there's a little deck that's floating. Are those like big, huge below grade wells?
Yes, on the rear of the house, these are like a basement walkout. But
Okay, so
that is, I could show on the site plan, that's on the absolute back.
yeah, but
Yeah,
how
yeah.
are you keeping people from falling into those? There's no railing or anything.
Well, quite honestly, we haven't really developed this as part of the landscape, so we haven't, that was going to come in under a landscape application, what's happening here. So this is just sort of hinting at what's there. So
I think the building inspector will take care of that.
Well, I was just curious because if those are open, there's probably going to be lots of glass. I don't know. It was kind of confusing to me. And I think we had some neighbor letters on this, didn't we?
They're actually at the original presentation. There were some neighbors who had spoken on it. And their primary concern was on our original site plan, there was a pool that was shown back here. And although it wasn't part of the application, it hinted or indicated that there would be potentially a pool coming. So what we have done is that we've removed any reference to that. It's basically the building envelope would restrict any structures from being back here. And since a pool is considered a structure, it can't happen anyhow. So that was their concern. This is their house here and they were looking over. Yeah.
But we got a letter like today or yesterday, I thought.
Oh, okay. I don't know about that.
That had other.
On Val's note, yes, we received actually this morning an email. I don't know if you all have received this or not. I'm looking at through HTC submissions, but this is from Stephen and Mary Lynn Watson at 5 Chatawakimo. Do you want me to read it into the record, Madam Chair, so you all are aware?
Please.
Okay. And again, apologize for not sending this sooner. This is, Dear Chairman Poole, due to a prior commitment, we anticipate being unavailable to join the meeting scheduled for February 15, 2022. As abutting property owners to the above mentioned agenda item, we respectfully request our comments to be read into the record. We are relieved to see that the revised plans have eliminated the pool as that was outside the building envelope and thus not permitted. However, we know that the plans do still have a pool room a deck and see-through feature from the street to the backyard. Thus, a pool is plainly contemplated. As I recall from the prior meeting, the see-through and the bridge feature were considered an anomaly, but still appear here. Also, it was suggested by an HDC member that the entire project should come in off the property lines, but it appears not to have been moved. We would also ask that the finished grade be required to be shown on the drawings and that it not be more than a foot from existing grade. The roof line appears to be too tall. The Tatukimo HOA design restrictions state that the maximum height ridge, excluding chimneys, shall not exceed 25 feet for 60% of the structure's ground cover and is not to exceed 22 feet for the remaining 40% of ground cover. Furthermore, the declarations or restrictions and easements of Tatukimo HOA dated November 7th, 1994 require all structures in the subdivision shall be built in the spirit of turn-of-the-century cottage and shingle style architecture, which is relaxed in form and includes low-pitched roofs, exaggerated roof line, roof overhangs with verandas and porches integrated into the main mass of the house. The emphasis of all proposed construction must be on the relationship of each structure to its site and its neighboring structures. In this proposal, the owner is using the entire building envelope, which creates a house that is out of place for the neighborhood. A smaller house footprint would be appropriate, particularly if some form of pool or spa is contemplated within the building envelope in the future. We respectfully request that this project be held for revisions. Thank you for your consideration, Stephen and Mary Lynn Watson. But
Thank you,
it's a
Molly.
letter. You're
So
welcome.
through the chair, could I make a couple of minor comments, please?
Yes, please, Chip.
Okay, so one of the things, let's go back to the site plan. So the building envelope is extremely restrictive. In fact, we're not even getting close to the allowable ground coverage as a result of that. So it is a small structure as that. The reason, I guess, they're referencing the pool question is probably, yeah, okay. So on our floor plan, originally, this little space was going to be for the pool. We just didn't take off the floor plan. So I can assure you the pool has been removed and is not part of the plan. So I just wanted to address those couple of comments. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Chip.
Also,
So-
I'm sorry, Madam Chair. One other thing is that this has been reviewed and approved by the Neighborhood Design Review Board. So that would indicate to me that it meets their criteria. If the board wanted to reiterate that is, whatever, as part of a condition, that'd be fine. Also, I'd love to offer that it sounds like the primary comments are right around in this area. We'd be happy to remove that decorative board and to pull these shingles out 6 inches on each side and change this to a more traditional glass arrangement with just the glass on the top of the door. Just wanted to offer that we'd be happy to make those revisions.
Oh, the let's make a deal. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it sounds like those were the.
Yeah,
these
no,
were
you're
the-
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see what the board thinks. Since Val brought up that strange configuration in the back, I'm just want to stress that we're only talking about the architecture and not those whatever those things are in the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's the height at Babby? Can you ask him what the height of the building is?
I think it's like tiny, isn't it? 20.
So it's right around 25. It might be a few inches over. And if we needed to pull it down a few inches, we could absolutely do that by, putting in a mud sill or taking a few inches out. But it's right about 25.
Well, you
Okay.
make sure that you're within your neighborhood association height, because I think it's really a story and a half.
I asked Madam Chair.
Yeah. So again, just to mention that this has been reviewed. We went through the Neighborhood Design Review Board. We made 3 rounds of changes to accommodate their request. So this has been reviewed extensively and approved by them.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Stephen, go.
It seems so long ago. Can someone tell me where we ended up with the garage doors? I missed that. I think Carrie mentioned those and I didn't catch. Yeah,
Chip has volunteered to only leave the top windows, and so that
I
there's,
And I'll
personally,
also add a mutton, add a horizontal mutton line there so they're not so vertical. So
I
the-
okay.
tend to think, oh, I tend to think that some custom doors with a 4-light about the size of the ones in the bridge
you're-
would be
Did you
really
say
good.
that? Did you say that before?
No, but this, I'm saying it now because I don't think a traditional horizontal at the top is going to look good with the rest of the building. I think it should be a,
So to
I-
sort of hitchhiking off the
Chip,
proportions
hold
of the
up,
front
hold up.
door.
Chip,
Sorry.
hold up. Let us talk, please.
Sorry, apologize.
You're reading my mind, Carrie. I agree with you. I think there's the traditional lights at the top are going to be inappropriate. I think if you could work in a 4-light configuration on those, it would be more in keeping with the rest of the design. Okay, thank you for clarifications.
It's 26.7.
6, 7, okay.
Chip,
so
you're in trouble.
Does anybody want to hold this for revisions or make an offer to sell this house?
I'll make a motion,
I
maybe
do.
through staff, would that be good?
Sure, try
To
it,
bring-
Diane.
Mr. Chairman,
To,
Yeah, so John, you're not on this one unless I made another mistake. Hold on.
which
one
one is
second.
this?
3 to
Number
talk
12 on the agenda.
John, you're not on this one. Okay, go ahead, Diane. You were about to make a,
okay, that we bring in the arch. Do you think 6 inches is enough?
on either
Yes.
side.
And the top.
And yeah, I know that take the bar out of the top, but I was more concerned with those sides, whether they should be a little thicker than 6 inches. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just suggesting lower the arch 6 inches too.
Chairman, point of order.
No, John, you're not on this. You can't talk right now. Continue, Diane.
okay, bring
ahead.
the-
Wait, hang on a minute. What I'm doing, I'm asking what number are we on?
John, we're in the
on-
middle of a motion.
Right, well, I'm on
It's,
this one here for the garage.
you're not on this.
it's
this
number
application.
5.
Got my name
Three
on it, that's what I'm
to-
questioning. Brett Fodderman, he's number 5, 6, and 7. I'm not on 5. I'm not on 6, but I'm on number 6.
John, I love you, but we're in the middle of a motion.
Well,
We're on number 5, John. We're just in the middle of a motion. So go ahead, Diane, start again.
Okay, we would reduce the archway 6 inches down and 6 inches in on the
Thank-
side.
Either side.
We will have the garage doors, we will make that they are the 4 windows up at the top and not the windows that are proposed now. I don't know that there was anything else we discussed. Being the front facade was the biggest. Did anybody else remember anything that they wanted
The
in?
garage doors.
Yeah, we did that.
You
I
mentioned that.
just,
Oh, you did. I'm sorry. I didn't. I was just wondering if I am perceived to be yelling at John, so I must have missed that.
No,
okay,
I think that's it.
Madam
So-
Chair,
okay.
Okay, Holly, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt in your motion, but one of the comments from, which I sent to you all from the abutter Watson's attorney, did ask that the revised plans only shows one elevation, that being 24 feet. The COA states that the height will be 26.7 above final finished grade. And he's asking that the applicant provide the height above existing grade to discourage raising the house well above the existing grade fill. Not sure if that was part of any of your conversations at all, but should be noted.
Maybe Chip can help us. Did you do something wrong, Chip? Or,
Oh, no, okay, so as I mentioned, this has been reviewed and approved by the board. if the H by the Neighborhood Design Review Board, if the HDC would like to incorporate into their motion, adding that it conforms to their approval, I'm happy to meet with them again and just make sure it does.
Diane, do you want to add that?
Yeah, that
this-
would keep him out of trouble with the neighbors who.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So can you put that into words that?
Do you want
that,
it to come back to the board or do you?
No, what I'm
do
suggesting
you want
is that,
To come back,
yeah,
you
we can
want
come
this
back,
to come back to the-
if we need to come back to you, I will. But I'm just saying you could put in the language that this it needs to be approved by the neighborhood.
I just put that in, but I'm asking my commissioners, do they want this to be done through staff or do they want to see it?
Through staff.
Through staff.
we can do it through staff.
Okay, well, then that whole thing is through staff. Chip, unless there's something that comes up that you want to bring back to us, okay?
Okay, all right, so on Diane's motion, Carrie,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Val,
No,
uh-oh. I'd really love to know why.
I knew she was gonna say no.
Is there a reason, Val?
I just think everything about it is too different, and I have some concerns about the ginormous window wells in the back and whatever. It's fine. You guys go for it.
Well, those are not, I think, Chip, could you please say,
Yes,
Those-
yeah, so
Enormous.
we're not applying for any of that in the rear in this application. This application is only for the house.
Okay,
Correct.
thank
And we
you.
just went through this with somebody on another place in town. And I think that what will happen there will be integral to what the building looks like in the back. But you know what? It's fine. This is
All right,
a
but for
democracy.
Point of information, can we see the back of this building versus the one we spoke about before that is wide open to two streets?
No,
I just want to make sure I understand. Can we see the back where Vale's talking about?
no.
Okay, okay, thank you.
All right, so let's continue. So Val's a no. Diane,
Yes,
oh, it's your motion. And I'm a yes. Okay, so that's good. 4 yeses and 1 no. Thanks, Chip.
Thank you, everyone. And
thank
I'm
you.
still here I'll be here for the next one, so I'll stay right where I am.
Okay, I think Diane chairs this one.
Madam Chair,
Yep.
whichever madam I am speaking to, if we would be so kind maybe to address John's question now that we're not in the middle of a motion. I didn't mean to cut him off, but it's just procedure.
That's right.
John, you are on this one.
That's what I was trying to say, but 2 of you said, no, I'm not on it. I
Well,
read
this
it
new
right
one,
in front of me. Let me
John, you're
finish.
on the one we're on now, not the one we were on a moment ago then.
I'm on number 6, 27 Cato Lane.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, I just taking it over, Johnny. I am now chairman of this for the 27. It's a new dwelling and Chip is the architect.
And if I
So-
can share my screen, I can.
Yeah.
John, you're
Oh.
getting more combative in your younger age.
All right, good evening, everyone. Chip Webster on behalf of the applicant for Cato Lane. Did the drawing come up okay?
Yes,
Okay, so John is on this one. And by the way, he thought it was nice for the area. The primary, you can see the original submission here. The primary concerns, this is the street elevation, which is going to be the most visible, was the overall height of the ridge. That was one concern. A second concern was we had the entry coming into a secondary mass here that was set back from the main mass. So generally speaking, the board wanted to see more of it broken down, and so it was an all two-story, wanted a more traditional entry element as well as a more traditional door. So you can see we did a major redo here, and I think we've got it on that street side right there. We have a 3-bay with a traditional arrangement with a traditional 6-panel door side lights. We have an additive mass that is 1.5 stories to the side. No mold units whatsoever visible from that side. The west elevation, which would get sort of is the side, but would get some sort of side visibility from the street. Same thing, we brought it down. I'm sorry, that's the west elevation. I should be going to the east elevation. West. I'm sorry. Again, north elevation is the side. Okay, here, what we did was, again, we brought it down to 1.5 stories in the rear. And you can see in the previous design, we had that stepped back entry, which we've removed. So we've got a very simple form in the front with a connecting link to 1.5 stories mass in the rear instead of what we had before. Okay, the south elevation, this is set back. So it's an L shape. So you really wouldn't see any of this. This you would see, again, from sort of the side on the front. And then this is the back of the house, where we also brought it down to, we broke down the roof lines and so forth, the 1.5 stories massing and so forth. So it wasn't all the 2-story. Okay, so back to the, this is the street side elevation here. I turn over to the board for comments. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Chip. Okay, who wants to begin with this? Who?
I'll
Val,
go.
who's that?
It's
Okay,
Carrie.
Gary, come on.
On the front, just the front door, not the full side lights, do the typical 3 and panel. I appreciate the massing change in the front door location. On that one side elevation, I guess it's the north. The dormers, I think you could still drop that roof mass a little bit because it's persnickety, but that rear mass, it is set back quite far. The rear mass, your fascia could drop a little bit to the window cross, yeah. So that would drop the whole roof a little bit, and that would make it even more secondary. As a 2-story structure, it's not quite a secondary mass, but it is. So just a tiny bit there. And I think I'm okay with the rest of it. There's a lot of glass on the rear, but I don't think that's going to be seen. Oh, so no, that's the rear, that other side. Oh, let's see the site plan for a second, just to make sure we don't see that big, humongous.
This is it right here. So what
Okay.
you were seeing through the chair, Carrie, is this right here, which is
Yeah.
set back from that.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I appreciate that. Thanks. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Val. Val. Are you there, Val?
Yeah, I appreciate the changes. I don't understand some of the elevations, but it's better than it was, so I guess it's okay.
Okay, and Johnny?
I'm right here.
Okay, what you got to say?
All right, which one is it?
This is number 6.
Number 6.
27 Cato Lane.
All right, would you read, please, listen to me, please. On number 6 is at 27 Cato Lane, am I correct?
Yes,
All right, what is under just the number 27? What does it say?
27, it says Coombs, McLaughlin,
Aha.
Oliver,
Now, somebody said,
Thornwell.
right, somebody said I wasn't on it.
No, they said you weren't on the one before this. You were
No.
not on the Totimo one that Chip had.
Yes,
That's one you weren't on, but you are on this one, 27 Cato Lane.
27 Quato Lane.
Yes,
I was on that one? Yes.
yes, you're on 27 Cato Lane, Maine, the new dwelling.
I got you. Okay.
So here it is up on the screen. What would you like to say?
Now we're on 27 Cato Lane, right?
Yes, yes.
Oh my
that's-
God.
Why? Why?
This should be part of your campaign ad, John.
If any part of this structure at 27 proposed to 27 Cato Lane. All right. Could I see the 2 points? Click it up, please. I can't read it. Thank you.
Oh, I apologize. I thought I was muted.
Shut up.
Okay.
Okay, there we are, Johnny. There's the front elevation.
Okay, that's the main house. Could I see the east, that's east elevation. Could I see the west elevation, please?
There's the west elevation.
Okay, could I have the east elevation?
Next, we have the east elevation right there coming up. There it is. No, that's the
That's the
north.
north. The east is the street side.
East.
There's the east again. It is the front elevation.
Okay,
You are,
all right, it's a little confusing because we get too many people talking at once. That's why I try to stay quiet, but once in a while I have to make comments. All right, could I see the main house west elevation, please?
right there.
Okay, all right, that's it, okay. All right, I was gonna say, these glass doors that are here, you know, the ones on the left, you only need two, you don't have to have three to overburden the whole wall with glass. We have policies, but nobody wants to stick to them. It's personal taste. That's what bothers me. Could I go to the north elevation, please?
Yep.
Sorry.
There it is. Oh, where'd you go?
Back it up one.
There it is. Now there's the north elevation, Johnny.
Okay, that must not be the north then. North, east, south, the south elevation, please.
It's right up above. There's the south.
There it is, right there.
Yeah.
Okay. This overhanging deck, it should have, whether they're fake or whether they're not, they should not be sticking out like that. They should have the braces underneath of it. It's more appropriate to have it there. You can see it. Right
Okay.
there. That's the one, right. Okay, that's the one that was bothering me about having those hung out like that. So that's-
Okay.
maybe I want that for the minutes. Maybe that should be changed too.
All right. Well, it's just, we can certainly discuss it, see if anybody else wants that, and that is fine.
Okay,
So
well-
are you all,
No, I have a further comment. Where are the stairs with the fence around it? He's got houses, he's got doors under it down here on the drawing. There they are, right there.
Chip, do you have the
How do you get to 'em?
stairs going, how do they get out of there?
My question is, the main house, west elevation, in
Yep.
the cellar, on the right, is 6 of those doors in the cellar. I agree.
Right.
But there is access from the outside. Am I correct?
Yeah, so let's look at that in site plan. So we have, this is going to be a rear walkout here. And that's going to be, we haven't figured out the grading yet in the back, but the idea is that it sort of terraces up from there so that it wouldn't have to have railings, but we'll have to work with the landscape designer on that.
Maybe we should hold this until they can get it squared away of what's going where. If that shows a cellar well and you can't get out of it or into it, what's there, Scott?
Okay, that is noted. Anything else? He will come up with an answer perhaps before we get a motion.
Yes, I would like to have Chip explain what's going to happen to this application drawings.
Okay,
Why don't we hold for more information along, so the site plan and the basement access well are, because it's part of the architecture, so in this case, it should be held for full information on that piece.
Thank you,
okay,
Chip.
that's your motion, Carrie.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Val, on Carrie's motion.
Hold for revisions, aye.
Okay, and Johnny, we're holding for revisions and more explanation.
Thank you.
Okay, and I am the same. So I believe I got Carrie has to vote on her own.
Aye.
Aye. So that is a full board with that. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Excellent,
Now
thank you.
Now we're going to go to the garage.
Would you want to just have that track?
All right. Let's see if we can get a motion for that. Can we track the garage with the house? Can somebody give me that motion?
Yep, motion to track.
Okay, very good. Val,
Aye.
Johnny, track the garage with the house.
Repeat that, please.
We're going to track the garage with the house.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
It's okay.
okay, and I'm an okay too. So that all runs together. We've done all those two, and thank you very much. Chip.
Okay,
Thank
And now
you.
I turn it back over to
thanks.
Ray.
Thanks, Diane. Thanks, Abby. And so now we're at 79 Pocomo Road.
Yeah.
Myself, Johnny, Diane, Val, Carrie. Okay,
Good evening, members of the board. Chip Webster here on behalf of the applicant. And if I can share the screen, I will bring that one up. 1 second here. All righty. Did I come up okay?
Yeah, there you are.
Okay. All right, so this is an application for a new house at 79 Pocomo. At the last viewing, or last review by the board, 3 of the members were ready to approve it, and then 2 of the members felt it needed more, so it was held for more revisions, specifically concerns expressed by Carrie and Ray on the length of it and formality. So what we've done is we have shortened. First, I want to point out that it's 168 feet from the road. So just, it's set back quite a bit, and this area is vegetated. It's also, this site, there was some comment sort of, maybe comparing this to the Gamble House. Gamble House is up on a big rise. It's over here. This is flat from the road and it drops off to the water. So it's not raised up. I just wanted to point that out. It's also 168 feet back. That being said, we did reduce the length of the house by 4 feet. So 1, we reduced it by 4 feet. 2, we reduced the height by a foot. And 3, we removed a lot of the windows from the street side elevation, specifically where we had 2 windows on either side here and here. We dropped that down to 1, and we where we had 4 here, we dropped that to 3. So you can see in that main mass, there's a lot fewer windows. The house is shorter and it's more sort of casual. And I turn it over to the board for comments. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Skip.
Okay, so board members, you know who you are. Who wants to start?
I'll go.
Thank you, Carrie.
4 feet's better than nothing.
Mhm.
But the fenestration changes really make a difference for me. And I wish the front door side lights were actually just 2 lights at the top to go sort of along the line of the actual door. I know it's not a typical side light configuration, but somehow I think that would look good here. Do you want to go around? I think the other elevations are, not visible. Hopefully the beach is far enough away as well, because I think the glass configuration didn't change all that much on those elevations, but I'm okay. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Carrie. Who's next? Come on.
I'll go.
Thank you, Diane.
I appreciate the reduction of windows. I wondered whether in the little thing to the left, where you have those 3 windows, is perhaps we could take out the center one and have 2. Yeah, I just saw a light up in there. I'd like, yeah. I don't know whether we could get away with 2 and 1 separated, which would lighten up that thing, and the one on the other side has got 2 anyway. So I appreciate it being reduced by 4 feet, better, as Carrie said, better than nothing at all. So let me see the other 2 elevations, if you would.
This is the back of the house. It's also 4 feet shorter. And then these are this is the end elevation. And in a previous review, Diane, you had, we didn't have as many, this was under fenestrated. Or the members of the board felt both these were previously under fenestrated. So we already addressed in our second round those questions.
Yeah, I have no problem with them. The only problem, which I think has got a lot of windows in it, is the one that's facing the water. And can you see this from the beach, or is it too far in?
It's pretty far in. Let's see. This,
Yeah, it's too far in.
Yeah, the edge is about right here. It's actually off the page.
Right. I know. I was the mailman out there, so I've seen it a lot, and I don't think that you're going to see anything but the second floor if you see anything coming up from the beach. So that's all I got to say for the moment.
Okay.
That's what I have to say.
Thank you, Diane. Val?
Yep. I went out there today, and given what's getting recreated across the street where the Gamble house was, I have no concerns with this.
Okay. Thank you. Johnny?
Yes, thank you. I had a question on this one here, 3. Yeah. Okay, is what elevation is I'm looking at now? I can't see it. Could you bring it up a couple of notches on the right side, please, on one of these photos? It doesn't say whether it's northeast, south, or west. Here it is, right here. All right, south elevation, please.
This is the south elevation.
Okay, thank you. My question is this. South elevation right there, let me see. So there's something behind it. Now, it's blocking the whole thing. I don't know what this is. Yeah, okay, that's the one. That's south, am I correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
you're
it's so
correct.
smoke, you know? All right, it's south, this is south, that's north. They have the east, please. Okay, east side, that's good. Is this deck is high, east, could I see, let me see that, that's it. East, could I have south or north, please, either one?
Well, south we looked at.
South or north, wait a minute, let me see it here.
Oh, sorry. My screen's being a little finicky.
Okay, this, all right, that, hold it right there, please. All right, the deck going out. How many feet is it off the wall?
This deck is inset between these masses here, so it does not project at all past the face of these. It's behind it.
Go down to the left, all the way to the left. That's my
To the
question.
left.
I'm sorry,
Yep, right there.
how many feet off the wall is it, Chip?
Are you looking at the this side or here?
Just the deck, that's all.
Right, so this second floor deck is set in behind these faces. Let's just say in floor plan. Whoa, where is that?
Okay, I think it's just odd having the deck going up to another roof.
Okay, you might be looking over here on the left, sorry. Actually, John, if I could, I'll go to the elevation that shows that.
Now, that's
There it is, right here. So this is set
Okay.
into that roof.
How many feet is it from, go to your left, keep right over to where the wall is. Okay, right there on that wall, second floor. Right there, Chip, second
Yeah.
floor. A little to the left.
Let's see, maybe we can look at it, see the floor plan. That's inset. It's probably, it probably does come out more than 8 feet. It's inset to that roof.
Oh, you can't see it now, you got it blocked, but anyway, okay. Yeah, that was my question. Is that more than 8 feet from the wall, like they usually are? That's what I'm trying to question, Chip.
Right. So the answer is that deck is more than 8 feet. It's this one here. This is it as viewed from the south elevation, the one you're asking about.
All right, Chip, I'm gonna pass it. All right, you go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, whoa,
He can't answer it.
he
Sorry
did
about
answer it. Okay. Can I see the site plan, please?
Yeah.
How far, what are those contour intervals?
Oh, it's pretty flat. I'm not certain, but I think they might be 1 foot. We're not proposing any grade changes, and
Well,
it's pretty darn flat.
Okay, I disagree, but you know, you're showing your site plan or your elevations as being completely flat. Even if it's 1 foot, I see like 2 or 3 feet of grade change from front to back. Anyway, For me, this house is just too big. It's going to be visible from the water. Otherwise, you wouldn't have that many windows and doors facing the water. So that's pretty evident. So if the water can see, or if you can see the water can see you. So I'm against this. But can we have a vote on this? Can somebody make a motion?
Mr. Chair, may I quickly say, I would be happy to change that triple window to a double and to change the side lights at the front, which were a couple of the comments. I just want to put that out there. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I'm just looking for a motion.
Motion to hold for revisions.
Oh, I'm not sure. You guys haven't given him a lot to revise, really. You know,
Well,
If I may, Mr. Chair, those, I believe, I was taking notes, those were the requested revisions were the side lights, which I'm happy to change, as Carrie suggested, and to change this triple to a double.
right. I mean, I was listening to the comments and I think that was kind of the extent of the,
can I ask how long the building is before we make a motion? How long is it on the first floor from porch to porch?
From end of porch to end of porch?
Yeah.
Well, here, I'm gonna guess. Here, I'm just gonna blow this up from the side.
hey,
plan.
Chip,
Yeah,
we're not supposed to be guessing on this stuff. When you submit these plans, you're supposed to show us how tall the building is and how wide it is.
yeah, I do
You're
have,
supposed to
I'm
have all
sorry.
that information on there.
All right, well, let me look at the floor plan then. Sorry, I do have the height. And let me just see if the length is on floor plans. Okay. It is. So 29 plus 32 is 61 plus another 27 is around 88 is the building.
It said 91 on the application.
And that was before we took the 4 feet out.
It still doesn't quite make, well, yeah, that's the length of the building, X the porches, though. I think Diane was looking for the overall. I'm not sure.
Well, I did ask for it
Yeah.
to be the all length.
Right.
So that
And
part is not, that part's
For
not.
91.6 or whatever it was, minus 4 is 87.6. And then these decks are, let me just see if I can find 10 feet each. So that would add 20 feet.
Well, no.
Yeah,
Then
10
you
here
add-
and 10 here.
How about the diagonal pieces that go out past that? She's looking for an overall, Chip.
Okay, I apologize. I don't have that exact number available. Apologize.
Okay, so what we do know is it's what, 120 without those porches, the added porches?
Without those, it would be 87 plus 20, 107. 107.6.
Mhm. Okay. There you go, Diane.
Well, I think that is too long. We don't hardly have anything that big. The Gambrel house was considered an eyesore, and it was pretty big, but this is awfully wide. This is wider than most houses that I remember approving. So I would like to suggest that it be found a way to bring it in to a lower amount on that, particularly on the east side of Pacoma and down by the beach. It's going to be viewed from the beach, and that's a long expanse. So I don't know what anybody else has to say about it, but that's what I would say on the second go round.
Okay, Diane. So does somebody want to make a motion on this? Hello?
Well, if taking into your comments, Ray, about it being seen from the beach, I think we should probably call for some more reduction of fenestration as well on that elevation.
There's some big houses. I don't want to belabor this, but there are large houses, the most notorious of which would be the Gamble House, which, to Diane's point, is, has not been held in very high regard. But the other large houses aren't as large as this. I mean, this is a very, very large house. So that's why I have concerns. That's all.
Well, why can't we call for motion of hold for revisions? Because that's what basically.
Well, I mean, I guess we could. So let's see where that goes. So Diane has made a motion to hold for revisions. On that motion, Val,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
John.
Aye.
Okay, Diane on your motion,
Aye.
and I'm in favor too. Thank you. Okay, so that's
Thank you,
that.
everyone.
Chip, thank you. All right, so now we're on to 10 Lincoln Ave. Matthew?
Yes.
All
Mr.
right.
Chair, I am here.
10 Lincoln. I remember this. I think we all do. Al DeMarco's old place. Abby, Diane, Val. Oh, okay. So we have no Jesse, but we do have Stephen down as an alternate. So Stephen, are you ready?
As I'll ever be.
All right then.
For this one.
Okay. I'll begin, Mr. Chair, with your permission.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if we shift down to sheet A 2.1.
Yeah, we're there.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Okay, so what we've done is we've actually got two versions of the revised third floor dormers. So we previously had come to you with changing the shed dormers to a gable, 3 gable dormers. And some of the feedback we received was that they were too steep in terms of their pitch. So we've actually submitted 2 options. One is a shed. And again, one of the reasons for the alteration is to just basically the head height in those dormers is low. And so what we've done with the shed option is raise the header height and actually change the window based on the existing window type. It's a little bit taller because the face of the dormer has a little bit more wall area, if you will. If you scroll down, and I think, Holly, I think we have the same numbered sheets. If you go to sheet 14 in the PDF, this is the gable dormer version, which I actually think works a little bit better. There's if you go one back, Holly, we submitted some perspectives, one sheet back, which is sheet 13. And so there's a couple of perspectives about that just show the gable. Again, I think it's a matter of preference. I personally think that the gables look great. We actually did reduce the pitch, which was a suggestion by I think Val and Ray, and I think a couple other board members. So I think that was a great suggestion. Again, we also emulated the existing window style. So I think honestly, either one works. If you ask me, I like the gable. Holly, if we could go back to slide 14, which is just a page below this.
Actually, she's working it tonight.
What's that? Esmeralda?
It's Esmeralda, yes.
Oh.
Thanks, Ez.
Thank you, Esmeralda. Appreciate it. So what we've got here in terms of the remaining revisions, I think the board collectively requested that we alter the front second floor deck to integrate some elements of the shingle rail, which we've done. I think that was a great suggestion. We actually added the chimney back, and this is something that Diane had specifically requested. There was a chimney in this historic location. At some point in history, it's been removed. There is a fireplace on the first floor, which it could be linked to. And so we are proposing to resurrect that per the board's request. On the east elevation, which is on the same sheet, we previously had a bank of 5 French doors. And what we've done is just utilizing, if you can see the reduced elevations, the 1/8 inch scale elevations, you'll see that the existing condition is a window and then 4 windows, pardon me. What we're proposing is actually emulate the same sequence with the exception of, door. Instead of 4 windows, we have a door, 3 windows, and then a door. The reason we did that is we felt that it would just be a bit more balanced as opposed to, lopsided, if you will. Again, I'd point out that, when we look at these elevations, we're looking at, a projection, a lateral projection, if you will. With this railing, I actually don't think you're going to really notice the lower portion of these windows. But having said that, we've changed that per your suggestion. If we slide down to A2.2, I think the only other remaining change was to change the amount of French doors. We had an extra French door, and I think the comment that Gabby had mentioned that they seemed very narrow and tall. So what we did is we eliminated one. We generally made them wider so that the portion of the glass seemed a little bit more harmonious, if you will. And then we added a panel on the bottom of the sheet. While I'm there, Esmeralda, is it okay if I present, just because I have some site photos and some site analysis? Is that okay? All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Share. Okay. So Holly, this is the set that you have. So in terms of the visibility of this, the rear elevation, this is the existing privet hedge, and these are photographs taken from Kapalm. Our current plan is to actually eliminate this rear curb cut and just carry this privet hedge straight across. And so you can see we try to take it from the most visible location. The closer you get to the privet, the less you see of the house. So we're just trying to be as realistic as possible. Again, this is the existing garage. By the way, we're planning to actually keep this garage on site, just move it and recycle it, if you will. But I think the key here is the height of the existing privet. And so when you take that into account, I really don't think that you're going to see the bottom half of this house. And so I know there was some discussion about the visibility of those rear French doors. So hopefully that helps in terms of context. If I could talk about the moving, because I know there was some discussion about that, and we've provided some site analysis of the existing structures in the neighborhood. So just to reiterate, so we're proposing to move the structure 15 feet forward, which I think is important to point out that is less than the length of a car. An average parking space is 20 feet, so it's 3/4 the length of a parking space. There was some discussion initially about pushing this house much further forward, and having done the house next door, I know that there was a lot of discussion about that, and we're not proposing. I said that it was very important that we didn't move any further than the adjacent properties, and that's not what we're doing. So in the bigger picture, given the size of this property, it's by Nantucket standards, it's pretty big, especially for this location. We're really proposing, and I mean this sincerely, our intent was just to move it just enough to make some room so that we could develop the backside of the backyard, so we could create space for the family to enjoy behind the house, and that includes, again, moving the existing garage and moving it, and that would become kind of a flex space that overlooks a pool. But the idea is that is where the family is going to spend their time. That's where they're going to hang out. And we felt like it was a fairly conservative and modest move forward. And again, less than the length of a car. I wanted to just kind of point out, we took lengths and distances of all the houses in the neighborhood from the building facade to the property line. And with our move, we are probably, I would say that depending on, where you take the dimension from, because these are obviously, 12 Lincoln and 14 Lincoln have, curved frontages. I would submit to you that we are, with the move, still one of the furthest away from Lincoln Ave. If you go to 12 Lincoln, they're 85 feet at their furthest point away. we're 84.1, but we took the average. If we actually went to the corner, it would probably be like 86, 87, somewhere in that range. So again, we will, even with the move, we will still be the furthest away from from Lincoln Ave. As you work your way up to 14 Lincoln, obviously it drops down. The furthest is 70, the closest is 51. And then from there, the average is 20 feet or less. When you cross the street, you'll see on Lincoln, to 11 Lincoln, for example, and 13 Lincoln and 13A, these structures are right up on the setbacks. They range, 21, 19, 21, 15. And so I just think that's important to point out in terms of context. 11 Lincoln, I think, is interesting too, because, and I'm sympathetic, and I don't necessarily have an issue with any of these. I think that it's they're attractive structures and it makes sense. 11 Lincoln, that original structure is set back from the road, probably the same distance that any of the houses across the street are. And the house is actually from the same age. I think it's from somewhere around the turn of the century, so somewhere around 1900. And in that instance, they actually built a structure in front of the historic home that's 20 feet, from the road, right up on the setback. And that was built in 2014. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is maintain the existing presence on the street. We love the front yard. The boardwalk stays. We actually feel that this was the most conservative and kind of sensitive approach possible, because the reality is, this property and a couple other like this could be subdivided into 3 parcels, and probably through an A&R, in which case, nobody wants to do that. And that's why I was kind of very thankful that the Notos purchased the property, but someone could theoretically build a structure in front of this historic structure. And again, we don't want to do that. We want to maintain the same presence that's there now. We just want to slightly shift the structure forward so that we have a little bit more of a backyard space to develop under. We're talking through the last time we were here, I think there was some reservations about moving it. We heard from the neighbors across the street and respectfully listened to their concerns about this structure, towering. The truth is, we're going to be 70 feet from Lincoln Ave. This is only moving 15 feet, again, less than the length of a car. The biggest, it's less than the length of a Jeep Wrangler. Just for context, when I heard that, I was like, this just doesn't feel like such a big move. Talking with the owners, they were just kind of, started to feel like they were being like prejudiced against. And I was like, nah, I don't know if that's the case. And I really hope that that's not the case, because I feel like this is, it's an appropriate contextual move. Again, we're going to be the furthest from the road. We don't want to put structures in the front. We don't want to really develop anything in the front. We really want to put everything in the back. And if you look at our site plan, the goal here is to actually build a small 2-car garage just next to the existing structure, set back 20 feet from the facade, and then also take the existing garage and relocate it on the property. So we're recycling that structure, which I was excited about. And again, I would just point out finally that this is the most conservative approach. We did do a study of what a structure would look like in the front of this structure, and I just want to kind of point that out. And I think that obviously we don't want to do this, but so this is the existing site plan. You can see, and you've got that very light orange line that just shows the existing footprint. So again, the plan here, it's a short move. It's a subtle move. This just for my own curiosity, this is a scenario where you could actually create, 2 subdividable lots that would be A&R. We don't want to do this, clearly, but somebody, a developer could have purchased this property. Thankfully, that didn't happen, and they could have carved it up and sold off these, individually. And you can see that this middle diagram just shows a 30-foot structure. Now, again, that's not happening, and that's not what we're asking for. We're literally just asking to move the structure a really minimal distance. And again, the intent was to keep the existing presence on the street, but just give enough room to develop the,
That's good.
the backyard.
Thank you. Okay, so I see somebody with their hand up here. Kristen.
That's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thanks. We do need to hear from Holly, but you had your hand up.
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you. I just have comments on behalf of 11 and 13 Lincoln.
Okay, so I'm gonna hold those until after we hear from Holly. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I'll get back to you.
Okay.
All right, so Holly, your turn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So for the record, this is a circa 1902 Queen Anne, the Binacle. This is actually from the HDC survey. 10 Lincoln was the main block of a larger house on this site in 1902, built by the Kimballs. It was used as a summer residence by the Kimballs and later their daughter, Mrs. George Gordon, until 1946, and then it was divided into those 3 separate lots. I think it's important to understand that this structure has a distinctive style, has a distinctive setting that should be maintained. HSAB did review this with your request. They took a look at this on January 31st. The revisions are very much appreciated. The house should not move forward on the property. These houses all historically had front large yards, and they should remain. In order to preserve the large front lawn, the driveway and parking should remain on the back of the property. The modified shed dormers on the front are preferred over the gable version. However, the dormers should drop down a little so that the top of the dormers intersect the roof at the break of the gambrel roofs. A south-facing 3rd floor window unit is still too much glass. The windows should be reduced in size to create at least a foot of shingles between the doors and the windows. The French doors on the front balcony should be changed to 12 light with a kick panel. In order to minimize the visibility of the front balcony, French doors, perhaps shingle the lower half of the balustrade section. And on the south, the 6-unit French door is too expansive and should be broken up or reduced. And HSAB respectfully requests further revisions. So if you're so inclined, I agree from a staff's perspective, this structure should not be relocated or moved to accommodate whatever in the back. That will drastically change the setting and character. And currently this, like a lot of them, they were intended to be serviced or accessed on the Capon Pond side. This, of course, because this lot and others are a double frontage lot, and their proposed revisions, I am aware of, and thank you, Matt, for showing the photographs of the privet hedge. I've been very fortunate to be able to be in this structure before. It's gorgeous, and yes, there's privet there, but it's debatable on whether or not the changes to the rear are going to be viewed. Last time there was a discussion about having a window survey. I do noted there was a couple of existing windows that were going to be removed. The rail that's proposed should be shingle. This is a shingle style structure that should be retained. And again, this part of it, its integrity. The existing chimney, well, thank you for, I guess, bringing it back. I had a question on whether or not it was going to be faux or is actually going to be a functioning chimney to the existing box. Also another comment on is that the plan should clearly show the historic structure as it is existing, as the plans seem to not show that. You're showing the previous reiteration, which I understand that's the process, but it should clearly show that. Also, it would be nice to bring back a lot of those shingle style elements. Those photographs you originally provided in the original application go back from the 1890s, 1900s, where it showed like the eyebrow windows on the facade on that gambrel roof. That would be really cool. As far as the proposed dormers on the facade, the shed dormers seem to be more appropriate as it harkens back to that original turn of the century when it was originally built. And I believe those are all the comments for consideration. Again, this is a pretty significant structure for that area. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Holly. Okay, Ms. Gagales.
Yes, thank you. Like I said, I represent 11 and 13 Lincoln. You heard from my colleague, Nina Pickering Cook. The last time 10 Lincoln was up for discussion, and I know Matt referenced some of our comments, and I just kind of want to echo some of what Holly said, that although we can appreciate that the structure is not being moved forward as far as it could be, it is being moved forward, and that does dramatically change the streetscape. In addition, the driveway on the front will also dramatically change the streetscape, as Holly noted. And so just wanted to underscore both of those points that needed to be addressed.
That it?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. All right, board members, which lucky one of you people is going to start this off?
I can go.
Very good. Thank you, Abby. You're
I
brave.
I took notes. I'm a bit all over the
Okay.
place, but as Matt was speaking, but so the sighting on the property, I wanted to talk about that because I think I think we have put driveways in the front here and there. But on this particular side of the street with these large lawns, this is the streetscape of these deep lawns. And I think for, the Lincoln Circle is where if you're coming to Nantucket and you want to go to the beach, this is one of the first places you go to Steps Beach, and this is what people see. So I want to get this right. I think having cars in front of the house when you could be seeing beautiful lawns, I just don't think I would rather have all of that go into the back, as some of the others have done. So I just wanted to get that out of the way, the sighting on the property. I was actually liking the doghouse dormers, the 3, but the shed dormers are naturally quieter. And I like the idea of coming down the roof and having that roof be the top of that shed dormer, so that you don't get a break in the line. Well, you do get a break, but it just comes down and it just makes like a little break back roof there into the shed dormer. I'm glad that you're recycling the garage. And I don't know how you're going to use it, but because it is a sort of a really neat looking garage, and I hope it's going to be used well. As far as the garage, so I've already stated that I would much prefer to have the garage and the driveway in the back, but so side by side, I think that's just going to make a massive block if it were to be side by side to the house. You see how it elongates it. So I would either have that pushed back, if at all, or or used as a cabana, where whatever you're using it on the side. I'm sure there's a swimming pool coming. And I also I think the eyebrow window is harkens back to the shingle style. I'd love to see that used again. On that south side, 3rd floor, I think that's a little bit too much agenda on that's south. Sorry, it must be
The east.
East. Yeah. That 3rd floor looks over fenestrated. I'd like to see that reduced and more of just the the shingles up there. And I don't know, maybe even those shingles could be shingle style, but it just looks sort of overdone. Like it's just, obviously you're going to have a great view up there, but don't make it so obvious. Make it a little more subtle. And I think that's all I've got. Thank you.
Okay, Abby, thank you. Diane, you ready?
Yeah, I'm here. Looking at the proposed east, which is already up, I would like to see, instead of the 3 doors, other than the 3 windows and the 2 doors, there's no reason why I think we should go back to what we usually do, is 1 come out and 2 windows, and cut that down and shorten up that deck so it's not overhanging the whole thing. Take it down to the space covering the door and the 2 windows. I think that's too much fenestration up there, particularly with those 3 small windows down below. So
Mr.
that's-
Chair, through you, can I just point out one thing to
Yeah.
Diane? If I could, Diane, that existing deck it's existing, so we're not proposing, that size of that
Okay,
deck
the
is
deck is
existing.
existing. What about the 5? What about the 3
Uh,
windows?
well, Again, through you, Mr. Chair, currently, Diane, there's a door and then there's actually 4 windows. So that gable end is fairly, as its existing condition it is fairly fenestrated. So instead of going, again, 1 door, 4 windows, we're going 1 door, 3 windows and a door. And the primary purpose was just to kind of bookend that gambrel end. So.
Okay, all right. Thank you. So let's look at the front. Matt, they talk about the parking being moved around to the front. I don't see that on the site plan. Are you?
Sorry. So yeah, so we we're working with a landscape designer, so we just have like an arbitrary parking situation, but we definitely want a curb cut to access the front. We don't want to actually have a curb cut on the back of the property. We would keep in mind, obviously, that existing privet has been there for a long time. We really don't want to remove that. We would create a small break in it towards the side of the property line, and we would do the plan is to do a very, very obscure, maybe even like the 2 shell tracks that just get you down to the house. But that would all be part of a landscape plan. But we feel the same way that everybody else does about the privet and the presence on the street. And we don't really want that to change significantly at all. And by the way, I don't think the owners really want people, kind of peering into their front yard. So we've shown something arbitrarily, but the truth is, after some of the feedback and the discussion, the goal of the notos is literally just to kind of make the most obscure access, smallest break as possible in that privet, just to get you down to the
Okay,
basement living room.
let's move on. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Diane.
So can I see another elevation? I've seen the east and I've seen the north. How about the south? Okay. The south, south faces which way?
Through you, Mr. Chair,
It doesn't
faces to
face Lincoln.
Capon.
Faces
It faces to
Capon.
Capon. Okay, that's what, all right. I would again like to reduce the number of doors, windows, whatever. I don't think you need all those number of windows to get out of the house. I think fenestration, I know the thing of putting a lot in, but I think that is too many, It should match. If nothing else, what's up above. That's what I think. I appreciate the chimney, as you know,
Mhm.
and for the moment, I'll let somebody else go so we don't take up too much time.
Oh,
You don't
okay.
need to hear me repeat what other people have repeated.
Okay, all right. So thank you, Diane. Val.
I agree with HSAB. Shed dormers, shingle deck, maybe one less fenestration item on the east, 2nd floor deck, because there is precedent there, and on the rear, reduce the amount of doors on that 1st floor element.
Right.
And we're not reviewing a parking space in the front, so that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Val. Stephen.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I agree with Val on the dormers. Those should, I believe, technically should be below the main roof line, and definitely against the move.
Is that it?
Yep.
Stephen, you didn't spend nearly enough time.
No, I agree with Val's comments.
I'm
she
joking.
agreed
I'm
with
joking
HSAB.
you. I'm joking.
Well, we got filibustered in the beginning. No offense, Matt, but it's too late to be going on and on about this stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
I think actually,
Stop. Thank you. Okay, now it's time for my comments. I also agree not to move it forward. I also agree on the shed dormers, the shingled rail. I will point out regarding the, move forward, the house right next door at 12 was moved forward because of the location of this house, DeMarco. And so the dimension that was represented just now is the new dimension, not the old dimension as of 3 years ago. So those are my comments. Can we have a motion, please?
Motion to hold for revisions.
Thank you. Let's see, on that motion, Val.
Aye.
Thank you, Diane.
Aye.
Thank you, Abby.
Aye.
Okay, and Stephen on your motion?
I'm an aye.
And I'm in favor too. Motion carries. Okay, so the next one, this might actually be our 10th application that we're reviewing tonight in 4 hours. So let's see, 2 Stone Alley, Ray, Abby, Diane. Okay, it's 10 of. We got to make.
We're never gonna finish it.
We got to
in
make
10
this
minutes.
short and sweet. So it's Ray, Abby, Diane, Val, Stephen. Let's go.
A point of information, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
Am I actually in the minutes? Oh, I guess I am. I didn't think I had the distinction of being on this one. Oh, well. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, bud.
Yep.
Why were you gonna leave?
I'm ready for bed. Are you kidding me?
Okay, so look, we have, our time is very short. Matt, can you go forward, please? Thank you.
yes, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Everybody keep it really terse. I don't want to be running over tonight. Thanks. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, so let's just start with the siding. So what we've done is we've made some revisions to the existing plan based on the comments the board had made. Basically, what we've done is we've taken the rear 2 sections of the structure. If we actually go to sheet A 2.1, the north elevation, which faces Stone Alley, what we've done is that we've actually taken the rear 2 sections and actually set them back. The middle section is set back 3'6", and then the rear section is set back 3'6" from that. So from the primary gable end and the furthest portion of the right-hand side of the north elevation, we're 7 feet back. So that was something that the board had specifically requested. We've also reduced the widths of the masses to create a stepping down effect. So you'll see in the center section here, we're dropping about 2 feet, which is something that the board had requested. There wasn't a lot of discussion about the south elevation. I think most of the discussion had to do with the north. I'll just keep my comments to that, Mr. Chair, if it's okay, because I think the rest of it.
Okay, so the main thing we're looking at is the stepping back vis-a-vis Stone Alley, right?
Correct. And if
Okay,
I could,
in a
I'll keep my
nutshell.
comments brief, but if I could just have a chance to make a statement at the end, if I could, Mr. Chair. Brief.
Sounds good. Holly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, 2 Stone Alley is actually attributed to Upton, which is actually incorrect on the HDC survey. It was actually between 1858 and 1871. A barn that was turned into a dwelling by Eliza Codd, a female MIT architect and Nantucket native. HSAB took a look at this on January 31st. The only significant change is that the rear ridge has dropped a little, and the additions have slightly moved away from Stone Alley, but not enough. So little has changed that HSAB is resubmitting our comments from last time. The proposed additions are still much too massive for the scale of his
In
house.
the interest of time, is that necessary? If they're repeating them? Sorry, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I'll go to my comments then. I appreciate the stepping back off of Stone Alley, but it still presents itself as a wall. The original structure is unique in form, and any addition should be subordinate with more of the additive massing. Proposal still competes with the historic structure. And then also, if there is windows that are being replaced, I believe there is, that we would need a window survey. I haven't seen anything yet. So those are the comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thanks, Holly. Thanks a lot. Who wants to start in? Oh,
Mr. Chair, are you going to hear from?
oh, okay, Sarah, sorry about that, but yes,
There's
go
a
ahead.
couple of us here that have hands up.
Oh, boy, you know what? It's 5 of, I was having
Never hear.
trepidation about moving forward this anyway.
We continue it.
Motion to hold till Thursday.
Yeah, I think we got to do that. I mean, with neighbors and all this and the discussion.
No way we're going to do this in 5 minutes, I'll tell you.
There's no way, no
And
way.
we're not going away.
Yeah, I think Matt's aware of that. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna pull the plug on this one. So I'm gonna need a motion to hold this for Thursday, okay?
Don't move.
Actually, John, you're not on it, friend. Sorry.
I already made the motion, Mr. Chair.
Oh, you did, to hold for Thursday? Thanks, Stephen. Okay, so on that motion, Val,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
thank you, Abby.
Aye.
Thanks, Stephen, on your motion.
Aye.
And I'm in favor, motion carries. Sorry, we just ran out of time and we really
No
can't.
worries. And I appreciate, I know how long of a night this is for everybody and appreciate
Okay,
all your time.
Thank you. Okay, so now, let's see if we have any tidying up to do. We could theoretically approve minutes of February 1st and 3rd. How does everybody
So
feel?
move.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Diane. On Diane's motion to approve the minutes of February 1st and 3rd, Val,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
thank you, Abby. Is Abby gone? I can pull in somebody else. Carrie, you still there?
Aye.
There we go. And gosh, who made the motion?
Motion to adjourn.
I
No,
made the motion.
no, who, Diane?
I am losing it.
Yeah, Diane made the motion. You're in favor of the motion, right, Diane?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, and I'm in favor too. So then we got some approved minutes, and now, John, go for it.
Motion to adjourn.
There you go. All right. On John's motion to adjourn, Diane.
Aye.
Thank you, Val.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Stephen. Maybe he left. Abby, you're gone, right? Carrie. Trustee Carrie. Carrie's always there. Thank you. And John.
And always prepared.
Yes. And John on your motion.
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Good night, everyone. Thanks.
What? It's over right now in a minute.
Good night, Valerie.
Well, there it's over. They've all gone.
Okay, that new SIM card.
Good night, Diane.